Busy start to the morning as we kind of float into the shot here this morning. Happy Wednesday morning here. Futures holding on to basically a flat start. Could have been a little bit worse. Initially was a little bit worse. A ton to talk about this morning, including lots of high flyers moving around. AI-related stocks back in focus. More from NVIDIA today. We get AMD coming up tomorrow with their event. We get Tesla coming up tomorrow with their event. You saw their WW 2 days in a row. 40+% to the upside. High flyer once again today. Tons of volume behind WW. If you missed it yesterday, they have officially joined the GLP-1 race. 60% right now. Just took out the highs, 185 for WW. So we'll keep an eye on that one this morning. Here's NVIDIA back to highs to kick things off, already 1.2%. Pretty light on the economic calendar until tomorrow. Oh, by the way, we get inflation tomorrow. CPI coming through at 8:30. PPI then follows that the next day. So Sharif and I were just discussing before we came on here, what happens if it goes back up here after that last jobs report? And I mean, you made a good point with this insurance side of things. I mean, shout out to everyone in Florida. Hope you're safe. Hope everyone's, getting out, ahead of this crazy storm that's coming. So our thoughts are with you down in Florida. But just worth noting, 9:15 this morning, we do get Fed's Logan coming through. There's long line of Fed speakers today. Logan at 9:15, and then at 10:30, Barkin and Goolsbee going to come through. We get the energy data. It's Wednesday, so oil numbers.
Yeah, that's going to be important as well, Brendo. Google in focus, as well as they, we're getting commentary coming out of the Justice Department about how they want to pursue some of the remedies with Google breakup. Also on the table, Taiwan Semi giving us their early Q3 revenue look, beating everywhere. Also, Boeing, sadly, back in focus again. A couple of reasons today. They're pulling the contract offer that they were trying to offer their machinists. They haven't been producing airplanes since they went on strike, but also the FAA or the NTSB, Brendo, coming out with a rudder issue with another Boeing airplane. This company just can't catch a break.
It's snowballing big time for Boeing when they find a crack. I guess they just keep pulling on the string. Yeah, not good. Boeing downside right back to the lows if you look at a daily chart. I can't keep my eye off this thing. 62% now, just took out the highs here at 190 now for WW. Tons and tons of volume behind this. Yeah, this Google story is going to be the main one today. It's Chrome and Android that they're specifically looking at whether or not they're going to force them to divest one or both at this point. I was reading this morning, 90+% of internet searches in the US are done via Google Chrome and,
I believe that.
and Google search engine.
Absolutely, like the likes of DuckDuckGo and Bing. They're all playing for a distant second, Brian.
Yeah. So they're calling it, or I guess suggesting that it should be called an illegal monopoly. So we'll watch Google. Downside here a little bit this morning, guys, but lots to talk about. Good morning.
Good morning.
DuckDuckGo? Some of these things I've never even heard of.
Oh, so look, man, DuckDuckGo it's the one that gets used for alternative
Ask
reasons.
Jeeves, yeah, I remember that one.
No, Ask Jeeves.
That was just a search engine, wasn't it? That was not.
DuckDuckGo is where you go if you want to duck accountability. You know the stuff in your search history? Yeah, that you guys know what I'm getting
incognito mode?
Incognito
duck mode?
No, that's basically.
Ask Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves.
I wonder whatever happened to that. Did Jeeves just retire?
That's so much longer ago.
Jeeves hit it and quit it?
Dude, that was probably Ask Jeeves was a thing when I
don't think Randy's here. We might have to get our own coffees at some point.
405. Anyways, what might be bad for Google, I think might be good for Apple, which looks good again today. I'm kind of like Brandon here. Like I've been watching WW here. Man, that was a good headline yesterday, and a lot of times the opportunity to get like a cleaner trade isn't going to happen with something like this, because when you looked at it, there was the break. It broke $1. When you broke this level here, it should just be like a go long 111. Stop out under 80 cents or like 90 and hold it a couple days and see what happens. Because once you do this gap up, it's like, okay, well, I need this to calm down, show me some kind of a reasonable entry point that I can stick myself into, because I don't like chasing these too far. Now you're up 60%. and it's already double topping, like all that kind of stuff. So you have to find trend to be able to get into here. So it's going to be a tricky one for them. Alphabet, long run, look, this is going to take forever to settle down. Like, it's going to be years. They're going to appeal. It'll be years before any resolution happens. Breakup's probably like a minor possibility. There's a whole heap of other things that they can do here. They might try to go back green again. If it does, I think there'll be some opportunities maybe to fade it, but it can't be a bad story for like an Apple or a Meta, the way I see it. And the hilarious thing about it is, okay, so now just as search is being fundamentally changed over the next few years, this is when they get really serious about the monopolistic practices of Alphabet, or the monopoly they have. Now that AI is going to change search fundamentally. Oh, better late than never, I guess.
Yeah, we talked about Google splitting up again, back and forth. I was actually not, Palantir, first of all, is going to break $42. That should be exciting when that happens. I heard Jim Cramer call this thing a cult stock, so that's nice. Okay, I mean, I'll take it.
He said that?
I mean, Cramer was saying that it was, he's saying that it wasn't him that thought about it, it was somebody else. But, you know, the only other cult stock, I mean, there's a couple of them, and one is Tesla, so I'll take it. All right, so basically, this is not even going to be on my radar yet today. I don't know if I want to trade this really early, and the reason why is just like, this is not great news, I didn't think, but the market is fine with it. Like, the Nasdaq's down, Google's down. Like, it's not like this is down 3 or 4% on breakup news or anything like that. I mean, I still think, you know, with the importance of cloud, with the importance of Gemini, AI, and then YouTube, like, I can't get my kids off YouTube, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't know, I still like the stock. It's not that much of a worry, but for me, I thought it would be down a lot more than this. And the fact that it's not leaves me for pause. So I'll just continue to go long NVIDIA, basically. Yeah, no, we'll watch Google today. As Brendan said, there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of things moving around. The cruise lines are moving around. And I was actually watching yesterday, and like, I had to turn it because like my daughter's 9? How old is she? Yeah, 9. 10. And she was like, we were watching updates on Milton there. And it was, and then she's just like, no, you have to turn it, because basically they were just showing the path. And it was like going right through Sarasota, right through Tampa. And they were showing the mayor saying, if you're still here, you're going to die. Like things like that. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay. Like sometimes you take for granted where you're housed, like where you live. And we were saying that, me and Neil were talking about that. And it's like, some people, it's easy to say, get out of town. But some people don't have that option to do that. And it's just like, there is, I mean, I don't want to say it, but unfortunately, there's most likely going to be loss of life. People are
very
saying,
likely.
You know, they're saying 15 feet. Like people's houses aren't 15 feet tall.
No.
You know, and so like when you get that storm surge, 15, like it's supposed to be 15 feet. Like I think they were saying Helena or whatever was 5 feet. Like this is going to be,
it's scary.
And then they were showing actually going down some of the streets that are still mangled.
Like they just got battered badly.
Oh,
like
man.
It's the worst possible time, because that's when everything is most vulnerable. You're just trying to rebuild. The people are just trying to take stock of what has happened. I mean, it's one of those things where like when they tell you to get out, get out. And it's not like I was telling Sean about this, and this is not a joke. I know this is gonna sound like a joke, but it's actually pretty serious. So like Waffle House is very, very famous for, they always stay open. Like Waffle House, they stay open unless it's like the most crazy natural disaster. These guys are gonna be open. There's like, they showed a map, and it's like half of the coast has closed the Waffle Houses. If the local Waffle House is closed 24 hours, you do not want to be around, because it means it's going to be bad. And like I was born here in Canada, but you know, my family's from the West Indies, and you understand. Like, you grow up hearing stories and understanding what can happen, but the human spirit's an amazing thing. So because it's scary and sad, here's a good story. A few years ago, there was a really bad hurricane that almost destroyed the island of Antigua, where my family's from, about 100,000 people. At the last minute, it swerved and hit an island of Barbuda that only has a couple of thousand. It's Antigua and Barbuda. There was maybe half a dozen buildings that were left standing. Everyone had to evacuate by ferry because there wasn't an airport and there's no air travel. And so many people couldn't, because at the last minute it made a bit of a shift. Just 2 weeks ago, and this is a few years back, just 2 weeks ago, They broke ground, not broke ground. They opened up the new airport on that island. They rebuilt. People came together. Now there's an airport. Next time it happens, people are going to be able to get out safely. That's the best part of it. Good people are amazing. And I know, like, I love Florida. I love Clearwater. I'm down there every single year. People can come together. I'm going to be down there next year, I guarantee you, enjoying spring training because people are going to come together. But stay safe, everybody. And we're going to be here to have some fun trading, but in the back of your minds, we want to make sure everyone in Florida is doing okay. You actually reminded me about CCL. I'm glad you did, because that one is on the verge. The cusp, I think, is the word here. I'm going to throw that one in the line. If it breaks 50, this looks pretty good.
GitLab moving around here this morning as well. Nice pop. 5.7% right now. We're up here. This is a daily chart. We're up here. 52.90, 53 coming into play. Morgan Stanley with a nice note on GitLab this morning, initiating coverage at an overweight rating. $70 price target for this one.
Yeah, good look over here, already moving through that $50 level. I was keeping an eye on this one earlier, liking this Morgan Stanley chiming in on GitLab. Obviously, a very important area to keep an eye on. It looks like Sanjit Singh here, the analyst at Morgan Stanley, with that overweight rating that Brendo talked about, $70 price target.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for anything AI related once again today with this NVIDIA story. I mean, meanwhile, NVIDIA, if you haven't looked, just continues to march higher here, 135 coming into play. I mean, all of these were decently strong yesterday. There's the AMD. Even ARM I saw ended the day. I mean, not as strong, but ended the day basically at the highs here. So semiconductors still can't get away from them, guys.
No, There's no getting away from them. Not in this market. That's why. Look, what's interesting about ARM, because you said it, this is one that I didn't even realize, and probably why you don't realize that it has like 6 days in a row to the upside is because of how gentle it's been. You know, it bounces off of support at 135, and it's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Before you know it, 5 days in a row to the upside. None of them crazy. Like, there was the one crazy day on Friday. So no, check that. That was Monday. Friday was the day that it gave up the gains. On Friday, but then gave it pretty much all back. Very controlled move yesterday, I want to say. And it's just like it's coiling up. You got this wick at 145. However, I don't want any chip breakouts today. I'm thinking continuations are only dip buys. At the open, AMD was kind of like a nasty break, and then you had to wait for it to calm down a little bit. I look at even like an ARM here, like there's your false break. Then you get the lower high support. It forms. You're able to sort of play off that level at 142 a couple times. I think that's going to be the way to go. So I look over at NVIDIA. You've got previous close at 33. You've got previous high 133.5. Like, let it decide where the bottom is going to be. And if it starts trending, let that what candle be the mess you don't get wrapped up in. Then when you get something like this, let me zoom it in on the 15 here. Because then when you get on the 15, this nice little rejection of that prior low, tight close up top, you've now got a level to play off of. Like, that tells you where the buyers won. And it makes more sense because then after the fact, you can get into it. Instead of trying to always pick bottoms with a tight stop in there and get rinsed out, like, just wait for it to show you the level, and then that's the level to play off after the fact. So I think that's what can happen here in NVIDIA. The one I'll probably be focused on with a little bit, SMCI, in the off chance it can actually break through that 46 that it couldn't yesterday, I think that has some room to go, but that's something that has to happen first. I don't want to touch SMCI unless it's starting to break back out.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if I tweeted out NVIDIA. No, I must not have. Anyways, yesterday we had it at 130.50 on the sticky note. We just have Apple. It's surprising I didn't do that. Tweet that out. No, we didn't. So, okay. Was just going to try to show you because our trades don't show up from yesterday. But there's 130.50 right here. Once it broke it, it was just wicked. It wasn't the greatest in the middle of the day there, as Jensen's sort of parading around New York right now, just explaining the future of AI. And, we already know what it is. And putting some, hopefully calming some of the winds about, are they going to be able to actually monetize from all this AI, right? And he's talking about healthcare and new businesses and new spots for monetization. So for me, it just keeps on going. And the reason why we liked 30.50 yesterday was it was the high from the previous day, and we couldn't break it in the pre-market, and then eventually, once the market opened up, it danced around a little bit. We got hit. We talked. Neil mentioned it there on AMD, breaking through 173 early. So we didn't have to worry about that with NVIDIA because once it finally broke it, it went, and we were able to base off of this 200 period moving average. So I just am looking right here. We're already above yesterday's highs. So scratch that as a strategy right now. I mean, if we were down here and looking to take that out, then I would say it's a break of 133.50 and we would take it. But the problem is it's already happened. But look where we dipped it down into that breakout spot again anyways. So 133.50, if we could dip into that, that's where the 200 period moving average is and where yesterday's high. So it's kind of like the same trade as this, except for this one, we broke it out and it went. This one we've already broken, so we're going to try to use that as support. So either way, yesterday's close of 133 basically will come into play probably if there's a little bit of a dip down. We've seen the market turn on itself, and maybe right now with the NASDAQ heading lower, we are able to get a lower bid on NVIDIA. But for me, it's a 133.50 long or just a, I mean, I wrote down 135. That's been the high there on a daily chart. I can't really zoom too much out because we'll lose it. But 135 isn't that important. It's a little bit higher than that. You're looking for like a 136.50. That's the high back here in July that we'll look to break today. So that to me would be a little bit of a better spot. But if it takes 135, I mean, silly not to break that long, right? We saw it sitting here yesterday. 132, huge size gone. 133, huge size gone. So at some point, the long is going to have to be taken. And yeah, we'll stay long NVIDIA. Look, it's up 1% with a down market. Yeah. So I think that says it all. And then tomorrow's AMD day, or tomorrow is
Tesla
Thursday.
day. Well, okay.
AMD.
Well, it's both.
I'm more excited for AMD. I don't really care about
because Tesla's not till aftermarket.
We're going to mention Apple is back to almost flat, trying to get back to flat here. After a nice recovery yesterday, we started the day negative out of the gate and then moved higher. Negative 0.16 right now. Piper Sandler with a positive note here on Apple this morning. I mean, reiterating a neutral rating, but maintaining their 225 price target. You get to this point in the cycle, I think, or the launch cycle for iPhones and tech in general, and you start to see more and more analysts talking about it. Never a negative for them.
No, it's never a bad look to be in the news. And here's the thing, though. We got some information yesterday about the which iPhones are doing well, which iPhones are not doing that well. So it looks as if the Pro Max and the Pro are actually continuing to be in high demand. It's really the base version of the iPhone 16 that isn't doing that well. It looks like lead times are 2 to 3 weeks, whereas the Pro and Pro Max are 4 to 5 weeks. So we'll have to wait and see how they do. But those are the more expensive devices. Those are where they have more margins. So maybe a good look, kind of tough to know at this point.
You were mentioning yesterday you just picked up a new iPad and had great things to say about it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, yes, most of their business comes from the phone market, but I mean, there's always other angles here. I was just looking at this one as well. A few people mentioning BNZI. Looks like there's a financial update, some other notes from the company this morning. So BNZI, we're actually trading up here this morning, almost 100% move here to the upside, guys. But thoughts on Apple this morning?
Apple, okay, so I said I don't like any breakouts. Actually, that's not true. I don't like any breakouts in chip stocks today. I should have made that distinction because it was the chip names that were. That was a loud bang there. It was the chip names that were, I guess, dirty on the early breaks. But Apple, on the other hand, like it essentially double tapped 226, and then you've got Monday resistance just underneath the 226. You do have the lingering overhead, 227 to 227.5 zone, which has been not the best, only because it was only one day that there was selling there on Apple. But it was the way that it was sold in that range that I feel like any long breakout here, it's like play into this, and then you need to come out of this zone breaking out the top, and then like look for a separate long opportunity. It was a super strong recovery back on the second, and it was a huge bull flag. So many times it tried to go. There was just so much volume and liquidity holding it at that 27 mark, and it hasn't really been able to challenge it a second time. So I think when you get there, it's like a hiccup long into the 27 area, and then maybe look for a consolidation that can break the 27.5, and then that would be a separate trade to the long side. But yeah, I like Apple today. It's not like it's green when the market's red, It's basically doing what the market is doing, but I feel as if, you know, it showed recovery from this 222 in the 50-period moving average now a couple of times, which I like. So this is a bounce off the 50-period moving average. You got the close above. I think you're looking longs until it loses that 50-period again, which is sitting at 223.
Yeah, I didn't really have Apple on my mind too much today, although it was my number one stock. We'll hit the cash register there yesterday. And yesterday we just were able to, I mean, really just, again, it looks like the NVIDIA chart. I almost think I should refresh this to make sure that it is the Apple chart. No, I can see the price. But anyways, I was just going to say, like, down into here, bouncing off VWAP, bouncing off the 200 period. It's what some of the big cap names did yesterday. AMD kind of started to go upside real quickly first and then fell back in. These names kind of just danced around this level. So although, you know, you're going to get VWAP down here at 223, this is actually where we were able to get long. 223.50, I think, yesterday, and rode it right to the top, got some out right at the end of the day. So that was a good trade, trying to hold on to that. I think Apple was unfairly beat up. I mean, we talk about that. You know, like, people that have no idea about iPhone shipments are saying that demand is low. Like, okay, T-Mobile came out and said demand is high. Like, who are we believing, right? So some of these analysts, they try to get this stock down, and it works. It works temporarily, but it's not going to work for very long. Apple is going to be a great AI play, and it's just a matter of time. But you got to give it time. Everyone's already invested in Apple. Apple's a huge stock, so I like it. I think that this is a good break right here, 226. Those are yesterday's high. But again, kind of just choppy here in the morning, moving as the market's moving. I think you'd want to play dips. I think we want to be long. I want to be long the market in general. But Apple today, without a catalyst, kind of just drifts higher. So we'll wait to see. If we identify that the market is super weak and Apple is strong against the market, then that's an area where we will look to pick up something on a dip. But for right now, I don't really have those feels for Apple. Let's go over to the board and see what's being upgraded, downgraded.
Affirm in this top upgrade slot for the second day in a row. Yesterday got the nod from BTIG. This morning, we're looking at a Morgan Stanley upgrade with a $37 price target. We have Loop Capital upgrading Home Depot, which is up over 1% right now pre-market. Then we have Norwegian Cruise Line. All these cruise lines doing very well this morning, getting some positive notes here from Citigroup. It's worth noting the cruise lines had a great day yesterday as well as oil prices pulled back. And then last but not least here, Chewy getting an upgrade here from TD Cowen and a $38 price target. We know this one can move, so definitely one to watch. On the downgrade side, Morningstar getting downgraded by Redbird Atlantic. We have Blackstone getting a downgrade by Piper Sandler. We have JP Morgan Chase downgrading Sirius XM, and last but not least, also in that oil energy space here, we have Exxon BNP Paribas downgrading BP, guys.
You know what's interesting? I almost forgot about Affirm, but you know, Affirm trend up yesterday, but it was much like the chip names. Don't need old trend lines in there, so I can get rid of that. Look, it was a dip and rip on Affirm. It gave you that pullback right into prior high. So when you look at these things like support and resistance, just try to remember, like the previous resistance, if you go gap filling like this and we trend down at 930 on a stock that you feel like you might be bullish on, let them rinse it out, because there's always people in the gap playing the gap long, or they're in the false break. Like, this is another example of a breakout. If you took the breakout at 41 at the open on the gap up and a continuation play, it immediately stopped you out. You could have waited for it to hold VWAP and break out here, and then there were a couple of nice trades off 4070 into the high. So that wasn't bad. But like, the bigger move is if you could have played the second half of it, which really was more like 40% of the move. But I think you've got to have, if you can, when it bounces off that previous resistance level, you look for the long there, or like maybe the higher low. So if it does exactly the same thing today, you're looking at $41.50 on Affirm. And it's not crazy. Sometimes history decides to rhyme or repeat itself. And if you're at least ready for it, starts to fill in the gap, it's easy. If it'll either hold 41.50, you get some green, you get a higher low in there, kind of an entry there or there if you can find it, or play it there, play it off VWAP, places to get into the trend. But that's only if it holds that thesis of fill in the gap, hold the prior high, maybe even the close price, I suppose. But if it starts breaking down and not giving you any kind of a bounce play, then you got to be able to get away from that stock. You know, catching the falling knife it's always fun when it hits your level and it snaps back up. Sometimes I'd rather miss it and then catch it on the second leg, like that first higher low off the same level. At least that way you're unlikely to get rinsed.
Oh my God, I forgot. I was in the middle of doing the sticky note, and I was basically done it, and then got sidetracked. We were talking about some other things there, and I forgot to post it out. But what I want to talk about, we saw, I think it was Norwegian. Was it Norwegian on there, Adara? Or
Norwegian was.
Right. So, yeah. So there's RCL, Norwegian, and CCL. So for me, we can look at Norwegian if we wanted to. Okay, they're all at tops. So I'm going to choose CCL just because it's only a $19 stock right now. So NCLH would be the other symbol, and RCL for Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. I was just looking at this, and it's on the sticky note for this level here. I think 1920, like 1925, kind of where we're at right now, for a break longer, and it's on our watch list as well. So we will get over all of this, but I just think that this is something that could go. I'm surprised. I don't know enough about CCL and their ports or what's going on exactly with Milton and how this is affecting some of these companies. But at the same time, I thought it would have been a negative influence, but it seems like it's heading to the high side, and a lot of that has to do with this, of course, is USO. So as oil continues to pull back in, obviously on these potentially tragic weather events, as we keep saying that we are, all of us here praying for Florida, obviously. But there it comes to the downside right now. We'll wait to see what happens with oil. But I think that Carnival can, if oil continues to make a move down, I think these airlines, cruise lines, travel stocks like this will start to benefit because honestly, I mean, lower gas prices, lower oil, better for manufacturing, better for travel. And I like the stock at this level. I mean, so do others. It's not rocket science here. You want to trade strong names. This is breaking out. So instead of like, here's like a little smiley face right now, you could talk about cup and handles and all this kind of stuff, head and shoulder patterns. I just think we're breaking out straight up. So we'll take that play. You could go the other way. I mean, if you want to go short, you have top wick candles as well to hold against that short. I just feel like it's going to be a play. I mean, if you look at here, just quickly, we'll go back to Brendan in a second. Let me just look at the imbalance locator because there's a buy out there, ALTM. We could talk about that later. Palantir's here. CCL is nowhere to even be found on here. So, maybe all the action will be happening once this market opens up. Almost 1 million shares done today. I like the stock. I think it breaks its pre-market high. So as far as upgrades and downgrades, I know CCL not on the list, but it's got my attention.
Google.
Okay. Wow.
Anyways. AMD, 1% here, just popping up on a scanner in front of me. I don't see anything new. I was just double checking on this event though. Coming up tomorrow, advancing AI event up here for AMD, but another one, yeah, just look at the highs starting to get going a little bit this morning. Tesla, the other one that's going to be on watch tomorrow ahead of, I mean, it's after the close, the Robotaxi event, but definitely should be maybe more tradable, on Friday, but definitely worth a watch coming up today and tomorrow.
Yeah, and we got good data out of China, Brendo, for Tesla. So Tesla's China-made electric vehicles increased in sales, not production, sales, rose 19.2% year over year in September. That's their best year this year because they haven't really been increasing sales this year relative to last year because the Chinese consumer hasn't been spending. So it's a good look there. They're still behind BYD in terms of actual vehicle output. But when you look at the electric vehicle sales, Tesla still leads there. So don't let those headlines mislead you. They're also offering zero interest financing, Breno, trying to get people to buy.
How about you?
Better.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Watch out for Sharif's review of the FSD system coming up on social media tomorrow. I'll double check, but possibly tomorrow we'll get that out.
Good times.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of interesting things that happened. I watched that video a couple of times. There's a lot of interesting things that happened during that you wouldn't really. I mean, as a human, you just react and correct and you do what you need to do. But when you're not able to do that, it all of a sudden becomes a big deal.
It does. And you know what? There was a lot of fluidity to it, but there was some stuff you say to yourself, they're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Right. And that non-always stop was really that sticking point.
Yeah.
Like, it should have been able to read on the stop sign whether it was all way or not. Right.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
We'll see. Hopefully we'll hear about that as well coming up tomorrow on this event. But let's talk about the overall market here, and we'll get into a few individual names.
We closed out at the
I
exact
thought we
same
were
level, 5,800 on the dot yesterday on the ES December contract. We did get above it by some distance yesterday, a few points or so, but we're still really using 5,800 as resistance. As support, we'll look to that same level we looked to yesterday, 57.50. But if we break and hold above 5,800, we're still looking at that 25-point level as resistance.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab the absolutely free every single day watch list from us. Has absolutely everything you need to know on it. Every day in the pre-market, all you need is an email address. Head down to the description below in this video, and there's a link there. Enter your email address. We'll send it right to you every single day. I was just going to update WKSP. Shout out to our sponsor this week and ongoing as well. Worksport on the NASDAQ up here again this morning. Yeah, that's real. 8%. WKSP now with tonneau covers for the Rivian R1T pickup coming out today. So brand new news release again from our friends over at Worksport today. You can now get R1T tonneau covers for the back of your Rivian from Worksport. So WKSP, go check them out. Let's talk Google here on this DOJ. I mean, nothing finalized yet, but DOJ talk, I guess, about a breakup or the potential of a breakup if you missed it or haven't seen the headline this morning. They're specifically looking at Android as the operating system and also Chrome, the browser. Sean mentioned YouTube earlier, and I was surprised they didn't start there, because that's, in my opinion anyways, the most obvious thing to go after. But Android's huge, across the board too.
It is, absolutely. And look, here's what they're looking at doing, guys. They're looking at prohibiting default agreements and revenue sharing arrangements, for example, like their deal with Apple. So it would include their search position agreement with Apple and Samsung. The government, that is, the Department of Justice, want this choice screen. So when you log into the phone, initially you get to choose. Google plans on appealing all of this, so nothing is set in stone. But legal experts believe the court may actually require Google to modify these exclusivity agreements that it has with Apple, Samsung, and others. We're going to have to see, but legal experts saying a complete breakup or an actual breakup of the company, unlikely.
Yeah, I think the last comparable event was the Microsoft. Going back a couple decades ago on the Windows side of things. But we'll see how this plays out. As you guys were saying early on, I mean, the market is kind of ho-hum on this right now.
Yeah, I think because the understanding is like this, when you appeal, lawyers get involved. Like before there's any actual concrete action, it could be at a minimum lots of months and possibly a few years. So like right now, I don't know that this is going to be a gigantic headline, but we're here about price action, and for Alphabet, the disappointment for me is when it broke this trend line, consolidated, it felt like we were going to go into breakout mode. Like a single close above 168 to me would have indicated a break. But you can see what happened when we got to that resistance at 168 on Alphabet. It just came right back in to the 50 period. The good news is it's bouncing at the 50 period. But until it breaks out, like if it breaks out that 168, closes above, I think it's got a lot of room to rally. So I like the 50 period for support, but I don't know. When you sit down, it was at $162.50. Now it's almost at $164. So the 50 period on the daily is now $2 away. Yeah, that's probably not going to be, if there's a trade down there, it's going to be later on in the morning. I think you just got to wait for it to get to 165. Unless it breaks 165, I think there's a chance to fade it up here above 164.50. So I'm thinking range bound for Alphabet, because I don't think this is a gigantic story. And as I said, it's got that support on the 50-period moving average. You can already see it bouncing off. Kind of like Apple a little bit more today. But yeah, Google, I suppose it could get up to that prior high, do a false breakout, and set up some kind of a short here. But, we'll see if it gets there. We're already 75% of the way to getting to that level. I'm surprised it's bouncing this fast. But here we are.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing that I was saying. Normally, when we lead with a story, it would be on the sticky note, or I would have a little bit of a stronger opinion on it. But today, like I said, I thought it might have been a worse play on the stock here, but it's up. It's actually going to go green here in a couple minutes, a couple seconds maybe. And the NASDAQ's going to go green as well. And look at this name just bumping higher here. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the all clear to go ahead and buy Google. I mean, obviously I like the stock. We talk about that that's a big position, but at the same time, you're above the 200, you're above the 50. Normally I'd be going into this, but the main problem for me is it's still a negative. It's still a negative, in my opinion, anyways. It's a headwind, right? Not a tailwind. Like, I'd rather them say, everything's fine. Let's just keep going as per usual. And then Google's PE and everything, and we'll be able to really see how great that company is. I mean, we can talk about what their price to earnings ratio is. We sort of talk about this often. If I bring over the Benzinga Pro platform over here, then type in. I was still looking at Google the other day. Thank you, Rob, for this. I think it might be Goog. It might be Goog. Might be the other one, not the Google. Thank you. I mean, it's right here. I don't know how much I can zoom in to show you guys this, but like, this company is an absolute monster. Okay, their forward P is 18. The market's forward P, even if you go with current P, the market is 24 right now. And so I mean, it's just like, I could put my money in SPY, you could put your money, which would be S&P 500, or you can have a look at Google as well, right? I mean, it is what it is. I like the stock. I feel like it's pretty strong there. I think the PE is intact as well. So I'm happy with it. Revenue growth, like everything's growing here with Google. So obviously they're always going to be, the U.S. government cannot let U.S. companies get too powerful. This isn't China. China would probably, if Google was a Chinese company, this will probably have like another one in front of this. But at the same time, we'll continue to restrict these things. Google, YouTube's not even viewable in China. So I do think that there are a lot of tailwinds that could happen, especially if that loosens up. TikTok, Google, all the TikToks are actually just repurposed onto Instagram Reels and onto Google Shorts. So, I like the space. I like the stock. And I'm not super worried about Gemini. I mean, I haven't, besides Sharif, I haven't heard too many things about Gemini.
I think it's fine.
So we'll just wait to see what's going on with it right now. I mean, even my guy up there himself had that demonstration where Gemini was way faster than everything else. Remember?
It's fine.
So we'll just wait to see. Yep. We'll wait to see what winds up happening there with Gemini and Google. Remember, Apple's going to be using this software, ChatGPT and Gemini and all this kind of stuff. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening. But I like Google here. It's going to be, can you believe it's going to be green here at open with this kind of news? So just trade the price action.
Yeah. No, I mean, we were just saying it's input, output. It's not necessarily, speed is not necessarily better in that case. The complexity of the answer and the complexity 100%. Of the detail that they're able to come up with might take a little bit longer. Yeah, let's touch on NVIDIA. Day number 3 of this conference in Washington continuing today. I mean, I haven't seen anything earth-shattering as far as headlines from them or coming out of this conference, but the daily chart tells the story. Once again, we are up 1.1% here to start things off this morning.
Yeah, Jensen chiming in yesterday about where he sees the future of AI going. He's talking about the next gen being able to reason. We've already kind of seen that from 1.0 from ChatGPT. Says, basically we need cheaper compute, in other words, before we get there. TSMC also reported, guys, Taiwan Semiconductor reporting, or a preliminary report of how they did for their Q3 revenue. Listen to this. They printed $23.62 billion in revenue this year on the quarter. Compare that to last year, 17.3. Huge moves here, 36.5% year-over-year increase on revenue, and it's basically all AI driven.
Yeah. If anyone hasn't done it yet, go try out the O1 preview on ChatGPT. It's exactly what you were saying. It's now able to ask itself, how should I answer this question? Like when you ask it a question, it says, okay, there's this part, there's this part, there's this part. How should I go about actually answering this question? So as you were saying, we're already seeing that, which is just, it's unbelievable. But what about opportunities here, guys, for NVIDIA today?
General sense, buy the dips. That's going to be the plan. Like it sets up, I know it looks like, hey, consolidation 135 is a round number, go for that. I just feel like it's a little bit different today. Like the clean breakout on Friday, you had, I keep saying Friday, on Monday, you had like the clean break at 125 quarter. Yesterday, you had what wasn't a clean break at the open, like break at the open and then retest like $2 lower, then break out that price later. That's fine. If it wants to fail break 135, come back in, hold yesterday's high and then take it again, you can have the second break, which is usually cleaner than the first on momentum. So I'd rather look at something like that. Play for the dip buy back into prior highs, prior close, and then if it breaks the second time, go for that type of a play. I think that's going to make a little bit more sense to me. I mentioned SMCI without actually showing it there. And what I was sort of saying is I don't necessarily want to touch this until it can break back out above. This is like 46 and a quarter. Resistance was there in the morning. If it can start holding above that price, then it can start to fill the gap. But it's just sideways action underneath and a slow grind. This one needs to show me that it can break back out. I'm not looking dip buys in SMCI. I really only want it if it starts to go squeezing again. And it needs to take out that 46, which you waited all afternoon for it to do, and it couldn't.
All right. Someone just asked me on Google, how many tickers do you want to look at off the open? I said like 3. Pretty good. Okay, so I said this to Sharif. I said, I don't think there's a better stock that you could own than NVIDIA. I think if you're going to look down to 1 to 3 years from now, just like those examples that Brendan just gave there, this is ever evolving, ever getting higher, ever getting better, what we're going to be representing here with AI and what that means. And there's really only a few players in this game, and really right now there's only one. Everyone's talking about NVIDIA and using those chips and building on that software. It's not just a chip game, right? There's also software part of this, and that once you build on top, it's very, very hard to go over to somebody else. It's just, it's like you made an app for Windows or something, and it's just, you can't build that same app onto an Android or a Apple platform, right? And so, I don't know. I'm just looking at it like, this stock just needs to keep going higher, and I think it does, man. I mean, it's the only name. We dip bought that, and this is going to be a dip buy opportunity for me. Every single time this is down near the 50-period moving average, I'm actually going to give you a better look at it because these charts brought to you by eSignal. Make sure you click the link in the description. This 50-period moving average, it hasn't been that great. I mean, obviously, every single moving average that you're looking at on the way up has been fantastic, but I actually just tweeted something out. Look, things aren't rocket science in this world, all right? If you invested $10K 10 years ago with AMD, $10K 10 years ago, Fabian, you listening to this, my guy? $525,000 right now with AMD. And that's when Lisa Su took over, okay? So Lisa Su took over as CEO for AMD 10 years ago in 2014. If you drop 10 grand into there, you're closer to retirement than you think. All right? Forget about watching the market. Forget about all that stuff. You dropped 10 grand in the market 10 years ago, you're doing fine. There's no doubt about that. But NVIDIA, I just had that story because it was retweeted, so I want to talk about that. It's almost even better. It's going to be better, obviously, for NVIDIA. But this has just been a huge move up, and I just think it continues to go higher. There's that 140. People sort of laughed when we were down here at 120 or whatever at the beginning, 125 or whatever it was at the beginning of the week. And I was like, I think we could get to 140 by week's end. Well, it's Wednesday right now, and we're getting closer and closer. So this 135 is going to be in jeopardy today. I said that 136.50 is going to be something, but yesterday we traded it. We traded it well. It was a very, very top stock there. We traded 130.50 as the break. Now I'm looking for dip buys into 133.50. You can go find on my sticky note what my plan of action is. Also looking for a 135 break. So we'll play it. It's 9:13. Let's let it settle down. The market's going to turn green off open. NASDAQ's already zeros. NVIDIA's already up 1%. I like the stock long.
Where?
I saw a spider walking on Sean's desk there. Fabian, was that you?
Chinese shares downside again this morning in a pretty big way. 2 days in a row here. This is a daily chart yesterday, and then today another 3.5% here. So follow through after, if you missed it yesterday, again, the stimulus that was promised last week that ignited this latest move higher ends up being, I guess, not what they were expecting or not as big as they were expecting, kicking off this selling to start the week. Here we go again.
Yeah, Ray Dalio coming in yesterday, chiming in on the China trade or whatever we're calling it, basically saying he's giving advice to hedge funds in this article. Basically, for those who are increasing their positions, he's saying be careful, wait for more confirmation that the property sector there, it seems to be his main focus, is picking up. Separately, Michael Burry in this article by Benzinga is up 60% or thereabouts on his China trade in a span of 2 months. So good good look there. We'll keep an eye on Baba, but already down 3 and almost 0.5% here.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at anyone, even the other e-commerce type names gapping to the downside, 4.6% here for JD. PDD, same story, 3.5%. So 2 days in a row here, guys, for these.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, if you're watching, well, you should be. In the aftermarket, in the afternoon show, almost said aftermarket. In the afternoon, there was a late push on volume in pretty much all of the Chinese internet names. So this is, look at the volume spike on Baba. That's not a closing print. That's the close, and then the bigger one is going into the close. And there was a spike up of like $2 on Alibaba right at the end of the day. Now you're gapping back down. JD, same thing. KWeb, FXI, doesn't matter necessarily what you're looking at. They were all pretty big. But Pinduoduo, on the other hand, decided, oh yeah, it just didn't move. Like, absolutely, there was a volume spike. They couldn't carry it any higher. I said there's no chance that you're going to get to trade off that 45 as resistance because it would probably not give you that obvious opportunity. Well, that's exactly what has happened here. So it just didn't happen for us on PDD. Is what it is. I think I want to short this, obviously. If it could be a pop and fade, I think the 45 level is going to be the one. 43 is a support. Certainly 140 could just consolidate, fail a breakout, and then look for a trend back in on Pinduoduo. Like, this is the most volatile of all of those names. At least I think it's the most volatile of all of those names. But the chance to get to that 45 is slim. Got to look for the short, either a pre-market high fail break, 43, and then 45. If 40 doesn't hold, I got to wait for 43. And if 43 doesn't hold, I got to wait up for the 45. Really just looking shorts on PDD after observing that close.
All right, look, I mean, it makes me happy to see Alibaba down another couple points. But at the same time, what makes me sad is the fact that we're not looking at FXI more on the show because yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw what happened into the close here yesterday on FXI, but this happened. I mean, it just went, the market was, I mean, I could call up the SPY, whatever you want. There was some kind of a rally here at the end of the day on FXI. Same thing on KWeb. So I think that we'll have to, try to be a little more focused on these as there it is there on KWeb as well. So this is straight from 34.50 all the way to 35.50, 35.20, my bad. I guess it was a little bit more dramatic there on the FXI, but this is 32.30 up to 33. So you got $1 and change straight to the upside. What does it do off the open yesterday is maybe another question. Let me see if we can zoom back out. Why do we have so many bad wicks on here? So here's yesterday's open for FXI. Yeah, so it kind of pumps off the open as well. So let's maybe watch this. It doesn't pump as much. I don't know what this was about there at the close, only to be down today. I would have thought like this kind of a move up. I think it was just people positioning for China talk, right? Like you might want to get long. Yeah, make sure you do hit the like and subscribe and get this man an iron. But I think that if you get 32.30s there, that's where that pump sort of started. And then we broke this area, 32.50 basically, and just kept on going up, and away. So for me, man, I like FXI. I think you can break this 32.50 area right here and get going. So we'll wait to see. There are Amex imbalances and stuff like that, but I just looked, there's nothing here. So we'll have to wait to see. But FXI in China down another 3%. What goes up must come down, and I'm not sure where China is going to wind up landing. I had sort of said down near $30 could be a level for FXI, but I mean, I still like the stock. Let's look at it more at the close. So FXI, I got to sort of keep that on my mind, and I will. And if not, you guys that are watching the show in and around 3 p.m., make sure to remind me that we'll do that. You guys know that I love some Robinhood. I see you guys talking about that there in the chat. I mean, wow, what a bunch of idiots we are when we were comparing. We put out SoFi versus Robinhood, and I'm like, I even said, I like Robinhood. And Robinhood v SoFi, it's like a disgrace. It was
like 60. I'm surprised it was 60 to 40 that day.
It's just like, it just seems ridiculous. It's like we chose, like the New York Jets over the Kansas City Chiefs, and we knew we were doing that as we were making that choice. There again,
I wouldn't go that far.
You wouldn't? I mean, I would think.
No, I don't think the Jets are that bad.
You don't? I mean, the Jets are okay.
I think it'd be more like what's the worst team? Like the.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is SoFi's doing nothing, which is what the Jets have been doing since Theismann, and then now you have obviously Hood, which is like Kansas City now going for the record straight 3 in a row. Can they get it there? So yeah, I think it's a pretty appropriate comparison. But.
No, I think I'd say the Panthers.
Panthers, well.
Yeah.
SoFi's not bankrupt. You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
Yeah. All All right, back over.
I saw SoFi had a couple new credit cards today they announced as well. So, I mean, in a market where credit and spending is supposed to be a problem, they're coming out with new credit products.
Don't they have a gold credit card, Brendo? Remember that?
Maybe that was one of them. Yeah. No, like the actual the actual thing was gold. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. There's all those videos on social media of people dropping it on the table just to prove that it was metal and not plastic. Anyway. Let's go the opposite direction here. Boeing, just a mess, continues to be back downside here again this morning. I went out to a daily chart just to show you we're almost back to lows here, 150. Incoming potentially today, already 1.6%. Sharif has why.
All right, guys, couple of bad headlines today, nothing really good. So they withdrew the contract offer that they were offering to the machinists who were on strike, who have been on strike since mid-September. They did offer them a wage increase, but that's not good enough for the union's leadership. They're demanding improvement in wages, retirement plans, and vacations or sick leave, which Boeing refused outright. So not a good look there. They're bleeding about $1 billion per month, and most production sadly has stopped. In addition to that, the FAA issued another safety alert for the 737 rudder issues. Looks as if they get limited or jammed movement in certain instances. So we're going to have to keep an eye out on that. But the NTSB and the FAA are already investigating this. So not a good look.
Just hearing in my ear there. Fed's Logan speaking right now. The market actually reacting positively to this. So there was a pop through. It actually went red to green there for both the S&P and the NASDAQ. So just be aware, Fed's Logan making some comments right now. The only one I see that's kind of interesting, Logan suggesting the neutral Fed's fund rate is uncertain currently. Uncertain, which essentially means if the Fed's fund rate is higher than inflation right now, it's still restrictive and vice versa. So Logan again saying basically Fed's fund rate is, or neutral rate is uncertain right now.
It's interesting there. Look, Boeing has this thing on daily chart where had you not had this bad news, there was a bottoming tail, bottoming tail candle, and then kind of hold the support, and then trying to break out, and once again you get more bad news. So it's still the same level of interest, which is that 58 breakout. Now it looks like it has to take out 59. But you know what? The thing about looking for a stock to make that bottom or that break off of the bottom for the long is, well, it's just a short up there when it gets there first. So I think today I could easily see Boeing, okay, well, whatever, like how much worse can it get if it's not actually breaking the 150? I would think the same thing about PDD as I do about Boeing. If you fail break 153 and you can't hold above here, they fail this break, I think you can short into 150.
I think it's.
But if it breaks out, I don't see any reason why it couldn't just do a relief rally back to the same area that it's been holding forever. And I say forever, but it's been like 1 month. So if it manages to break 153, I'm not going long. I think there's plenty of things that are going to be better to go long today, like Apple. We talked about the chips already. Firm, CCL, like there's so many other things out there. But if it does carry higher, well, once it gets into those mid to high 150s, it's a short till it's not up there. What more proof do you need than this daily chart? So you just have to be patient for it. Every single time it's gotten there and you've elected that you want to go short, it's been a winner. So you just be patient and allow Boeing to come to you. But if it never breaks that 153, it's probably trend at least to 150. Boeing, a dog, and not getting too much better. See, just because you happen to be in an oligopoly doesn't mean automatically the stock has to go up, right?
Well, yeah, no, but I mean, it will go up.
Well, eventually.
Yeah, the problem is that obviously the strike is not going to help. And they talked about losing, what was it, a couple $1 million a day or something like that because they can't produce the planes. So we'll have to wait. I mean, at the end of the day, it's that 150 break. So that's what you're waiting for. It held it before. I mean, we did get as low as 147 on some kind of a, I don't know, I'll have to check if that was real or not, but I still like that 150 break. It's 150.50. I don't know if we get down there today or not. It's already pretty beat up, like 1.62%. I think that's pretty decent. I don't know if anybody thought that strike was actually going to hit or not. Palantir, I'm just looking to see if there's any BA on here. Okay, now Norwegian's on here. We talked about, Norwegian's only $21. I thought it was higher. Okay. The fact that Norwegian is actually, let me just have a quick look at this one too. I know RCL is like $180. I thought Norwegian was a little bit higher. So this is actually on an upgrade as well. This is cruising a little more than CCL. right now, up 3 and a bit percentage. This might actually be a better break on an upgrade. That's $22 right there. What are we at? $21.50 right now. So yeah, similar to Carnival there. Okay, so they're both the same. They're both hovering right at these highs. And then there's the other one, RCL, which, my bad. I thought that NCLH, I don't know. I guess maybe, I don't know if they split or not, but yeah, there it is. So this is RCL. So this is the one. They're all going, but RCL is already performing the best and already taken out these highs from the past, right? So RCL continues to make that move. So I will be on Carnival, but also NCLH with these upgrades. So one's up 3.5, one's up 1.5. I like these names much, much better than Boeing today. Oh, next on the list, cruise operators.
I actually was like, oh, we're right back on.
So there we go. You see, so I'm in tune with the board here, just a little ahead of it right now. All right, let's go talk about it. None better time. There's only 4 minutes.
Nobody
left.
would have known you were ahead if you didn't say it.
There's only 4 minutes left.
All good.
Well, but a lot of people read the board.
Sean's living in the future of this morning, which might be good or bad, depending on how the market opens. But yeah, let's talk about them here. I mean, this quietly, as we've been saying, quietly here, these have had quite a week and a half, quite a couple of months here back to the upside. I was just reading through this RCL note from yesterday. I mean, there's nothing outside of weather warnings in the south, effective for today. But I mean, the chart tells the story here.
Absolutely, and here it is. I just want to show NCLH. This is the 4-hour Fabian on NCLH. What a fantastic look from mid-August. We were back down below $15. Now we're knocking on the door of $22 here. So Norwegian NCLH reported what seems to be mixed second quarter results, but here EPS decidedly exceeded expectations, but revenue fell slightly short of what the street was looking for, but the guide here was the operative line. It raised its full year 2024 adjusted EPS and revenue look, and you can see it's already up 3.5% here in the pre-market, and it was already moving before that. So good look for these guys.
All right, tell the good people, guys, what you were just saying.
I mean,
cruise lines? Oh, we don't want to trade those. I have no interest in those.
Break on the daily 19.5 on CCL, and well, you. Okay, fine. I don't really have much. Whoops, there's an RL. Okay, there we go. Royal. Yeah, Royal's the one that I don't think there's a blue sky in there, and I just don't see a trade in there either. NCLH, I think usually CCL does more volume, and it's actually very close here. 500,000 to like 700,000. So it's not a huge difference. You could look 22, 19.5, 22 break. I think you're just flipping a coin at that point, but I've never traded NCLH and I have traded CCL. So that's an easy tiebreaker as far as I'm concerned. The only name that we didn't talk about here, did we talk about Tesla? I feel like we didn't get to talk about Tesla, but the desk talked about Tesla. So just very quickly on Tesla, the last couple of days, 246, not 250 has been the resistance spot. I think if we take this out and get past a quarter, we go. So 246.25 to me is a long. Out in front of 246, fade on Tesla going into tomorrow night's robo-taxi event. So just want to play off of this 246. If you break out 246.25 and start going, I think the 250 is going to be in play over there. So going to be patient here. We're looking for dips and chips, but I don't want no high breaks. Don't want to necessarily catch any falling knives right at 9:30. I think that's going to be a patience type of play for a lot of them. And then we've already mentioned PDD. We kind of went over Apple. Apple is dipping a little bit. I didn't see an imbalance on Apple. Was there? No. It's still just BABA, CCL, NEO, and then that buyout. So Apple with a bit of a dip here. I don't know, like 80 cents going into the open. No sell and bounce or anything like that. I think the market's just sort of coming back in here. So patience. Patience off that open. Even the places where we like the long, let it get to the key level, show you the bounce, and then engage. Apple's the only one that I'm going to set a breakout for other than CCL at that 226. I've never had it do a violent break that that you can't really control.
Yeah, Apple won't be violent anyway.
It never really is.
No, like Apple, if you miss, you miss by 20 cents. You'll take a little bit of a hit. Yesterday, we took that $3 hit immediately on a $170 name on AMD. So, yeah, Apple will never drop $3 like that, not off the first minute unless there was a catalyst like we talked about. So, yeah, look, the only dip buy opportunity that I'm looking for is 133.50 right now on NVIDIA. So I am sitting there in case we do get it, but it'll be like basically 20% position, something like that. Like not a huge name, not a huge position on a huge name, just because we've seen it fall, man. And I don't need to be in like we were yesterday. And all of a sudden at like 9:31 or 9:32, we're stuck a couple hundy, and it's not good. So we'll wait to see if that can happen. We're looking for CCL break. Neil talked about that. Palantir also at $42, looking pretty nice for that break. And with only 10 seconds left, we do have today's bell brought to you by Worksport. We talked about what that's been doing, man, with Rivian and a couple good moves. We talked about it at 40 cents. It's at 50. 3, 2, 1. Check out Worksport. Here we go. All right, so nice move right here to start with. Nice pullback into the 50 period moving average. Oh boy, we just got into something. CCL breaking. So breaker 1-9 right now, man. The cruise lines are off and running. We've got it right now. So we got this break. It is your sticky note trade, hopefully of the day, at long at 19.25. So that's what we took right there. We're long there. We took out, honestly, a third of it already at 35s. So we'll wait. We don't want to miss it like we did yesterday with our friend Advanced Micro Devices. So let's see if CCL wants to work. We can easily get out of this on a 19 break. So well worth holding. Let's see if it wants to moon. I don't know. Light shares.
Yeah, nothing's really, I mean, Apple hasn't really broken. It's about 50 cents away there. NVIDIA is still dipping, so we're going to let that one calm down. Pinduoduo broke 140, so it's headed up. Maybe it has a chance to get to this 143 or the 145, but it either failed 140 under or you wait for that top. So just trying to play the patience game here. Okay, Apple's trying to cruise. Nothing too crazy. NVIDIA, however, still, yeah, look at the opening candle. Breaks, goes to 134.5, and now right back down. This is sort of what we're getting at. Now it's on that little bit of a downturn that we saw previously. Yeah. So just got to wait patiently for it to form some kind of a bottom in here. Tesla, similar story. It's not moving. It's just sort of slightly coming down, looking to be patient and catch some of this downswing. Apple's coming down as well. Apple now at 225, so now $1 away from that breakout price.
Oh, boy.
Going to have to be patient.
Oh boy, it's not a dollar club, but we'll hit this anyways. It's going to be a good one here, banger for CCL. So we just take something out. Oh, we did not get something out. We got something out at 40. I thought we got a 47 fill there. We are waiting for 47s. It went up there. I guess we got missed. Okay, we were actually at 47 there. All right, so we'll wait. Hopefully it goes up. Sorry about that. I thought we got hit there at 47. Still a really nice play there for me on CCL. We'll start the day off with a banger today, the right way. So, all right, AMD, man, this is what we did yesterday, right? We got stuck open, and then bang, it crashed in. Today, we are not stuck, but the crash is real, and it is happening. So crash, I don't know. The market is coming back in, and so is AMD. So down in here into 172. This could be a name to look at for weakness, to buy the dips. We saw this yesterday, make a bounce early. We'll see if it can do it again. For me, I'm going to go over to the big boy like we keep on doing. I might just try a little bit here in the 80s if we can. So we'll try some NVIDIA right now. We're waiting for that 133.50 area. Again, if it breaks too low, 132 is the 50 period moving average. I don't want to hold it that long, but if we have to, maybe we will. Depends on how many shares we have. So I don't really want to nail into this one. Maybe if we take a 133.50, we'd have to be patient, right? So I think that 132 area, 132.50 might be like a drop zone there. So I think you got to always give these things about $1. So we'll try to do that right now. We are long NVIDIA early. It's the only position for me we already have that CCL. Looks like that's trying to pull back a little bit, but long NVIDIA at 83s. So there it goes right now. Hopefully it can continue its upside play. 134.50. Why don't we put an offer there just in case it does get up, and we'll try to take 70 cents early. But again, the amount that you take is not really relevant. I'm just trying to make the best plays we possibly can. Go ahead, yeah.
Very quickly, I did Apple back through 225, so it tried to break down underneath 225, came back in, so I got long. But JTK, thank you for the super chat. The SPY is not halted. Why is the SPY halted on my Robinhood app? It is not halted. It's always a possibility there's an issue specifically at your broker, but we're not halted on the SPY. Boeing, however, just tanked $3 off of the open, so obviously. Look, you can't pop and fade if there's no pop. I think we all understand that concept. That's nasty. I don't really have an obvious entry down here. It broke the 150 faster than I would have even imagined. So unless you had an order sitting out there, you didn't get that break. On the way back to the upside, let's look to see if VWAP holds underneath that 150 level. So Boeing didn't want to ignore it. It absolutely tanked as Tesla broke 241 is continuing to fall as well. So Apple just bounced off 225.
Give it to us.
And now we're at VWAP, trying to take out that 225 half. Going to look for higher lows, and I'm going to be out in front of high of the day. I'm still breaking out 226 on Apple. That's a separate trade than the dip buy. So I want to get out in front of 226. I want to reload in front of 225. I want to take a 226 long break on AAPL. Yeah, Boeing, we're just going to have to be patient with. And Tesla, wow, Tesla, it looks exactly like the Boeing chart. You're about to take the 240 level to the downside. Remember 238. 238 was that bottom on the delivery number. That's the only place I'd look for a bid.
All right, so we just hit the side in there. We also took, by the way, Amazon. So Amazon, we took there at 182.17 is where we're long. We just got a reload, actually, so now we're long at 19s. As we took some 20s. We got those out at 50s right there on Amazon. And the thing about it is just like it dipped into this 182. Again, another level that I thought we liked. If it breaks it, we're gone. We are not going to sit in here. The market is falling now, right? So falling like a rock right now. It was up pretty good, but we don't really have a green candle. We tried. This is what we tried right there, the bounce off VWAP. I did not take the futures. We took Amazon on the bounce, right? And we're obviously into NVIDIA as that's falling down. But you know what's really working right now? Wow, oh boy. Right here is CCL. So, I mean, this name right here off of the sticky note, 1925. We talked about Catalyst. We talked about this name going, and CCL is doing that. But we do see that there is some size here. We'll take it. There we go. We'll take another out at 47. There was some size there at 50. So that's giving me a little bit of a pause for concern. All right, we're in NVIDIA, we're in CCL, and we're in Amazon. NVIDIA is falling back into that 133 level. I think it's worth a little bit of a buy down into here. So let's try to get a little bit more on this dip buy opportunity for NVIDIA. We are, well, there it goes, too late. We are also long Amazon. Hopefully that can go. We actually doubled up on that one. We'll see if we can have a little bit of diamond hands on AMZN. I was waiting for Palantir to do something. Palantir's doing the other thing. It's going to the downside. We are sitting here at 41.15. The low of the day is 41.25. I'm not so sure. I'm going to cancel the Palantir trade right now. Amazon's really going well for us. Let's just continue to focus on some of these names. We did get that question earlier. How many level twos and how many stocks can you watch? I said 3. So it's actually, I'm in 3 right now. Good trading for CCL and Amazon. We wait for NVIDIA though.
Now, NVIDIA I took the first shot at NVIDIA off the previous high in there. I didn't want to interrupt, but it was an initial bounce, took out the previous low, and I did the same thing. It's still going red. I'm not getting around at bottom. I shouldn't be in it yet, and we just did. The difference is, as it tries to get back down lower, the difference is Apple kind of put in a big reversal, gave you back through the level, at the even level at 25. It's still trying to go higher while the market's going down. CCL still hasn't broken 19.5 for me. Okay, Tesla's really charging to the downside at this point. Looks like 138 is going to come into play. I don't want this to lose VWAP here on Apple, but I like the fact that it's relatively strong. I don't want to ignore that. NVIDIA, I feel like it's, there's going to be another opportunity. Still think I was too early. The previous close is trying to set up now, but we're bleeding in here to the downside. I want to take a shot where we can get tight risk into this previous close price. I think back through the previous close of 132.89 is about the only play. Tesla's making a bounce as we speak, so it's still there, and it has a chance to go on Tesla back to the upside. It's already going. So NVIDIA's at that previous close. If it gets back through 132.90, I'm going long. Waited for that previous close price. We were going to take our second shot at it. Apple did just get to and broke. No fill. Okay, Apple just broke 226. I'm on the bid at 8s. There we go.
Guys, I mean, the money that's being made here on Amazon is quite ridiculous. We had that nice move down into 182. Now there it is, man. This is your first true dollar club. So let's see if we can get going here, breaking through 183 now on Amazon. It is, Neil's right, man. It is NVIDIA that continues to bleed lower and lower into 132 right now. We said that there was a very good possibilities of this stuff happening. So we have layered in appropriately. We are not absolutely just hammering into this stock. We've just taken less and less shares into this bottom spot right now, 132. I'm actually waiting at, did we get more shares down there? No, we did not. We're waiting at 132 flat right now. So it doesn't look like we'll be able to get those. So we'll wait to see if it does want to bounce back upside. We are being saved today. We're going to have 2 wins, 1 loss. CCL was really great, man. When that break worked out, we like that. We talk about taking breaks with Catalyst. It was already up. We get that good news from NCLH there today as well. Nice move up for that. We can see what NCLH is doing. NCLH, there it is, Norwegian. Okay, so again, still at its highs. So we're pretty confident holding on to that one. And then, of course, Amazon. We just took something out there at 80s. That was VWAP. So we will take a piece out on Amazon and now wait to see if it can get even just a little bit higher into 183, which would be the 200 period. Let's put another out up there as well. We'll have to take it if it does get there. All right, here comes NVIDIA. So NVIDIA's back down into the 30s again. We don't want to miss it too bad, but it looks like maybe if the futures want to go now, we can try to get some more into NVIDIA. But again, you know, we're trading with more shares here, so we have to be very, very careful on what we're trying to do. There goes Amazon. Let's go, man. That's a banger of a trade there, Amazon. I really like that dip buy there. Like the stock, it's up on the day against a bad market. So here we go, man. Let's keep going on NVIDIA. Obviously, I'm not going to scalp it out for this little, but let's see if we can keep going here with NVDA. Come on, baby. This is going to be a monster trade if this goes, guys. Come on, NVIDIA. Let's see if it can hold this bottom right now, 132 and change.
Yeah, we just got into NVIDIA, finally holding that 132. Just want to wait for a little bit more strength. Got some out in front of prior close. Going to hold for the actual prior close price and then see if it can get back into VWAP. Apple did the break of 226, so we're long off 25. We added through 26. We're going to see if we can get a consolidation above this 226 level to be able to add to it. So Apple's relatively strong. Check out the NASDAQ, everybody. The NASDAQ absolutely cruising now, right back into the highs. See that wick? Ooh. That's real, and it's gorgeous, because if we close up here, that's lit grab underneath and break out the top there on the NASDAQ. I think that's looking crucial. Oh my. We're obviously cruising to the upside at this point. Just got NVIDIA. So pick your spots. We just got the first fill at the previous close. Get it in the other side. Didn't have to fight this one today. Let's go. Patience, patience, patience is a virtue. Let's see if we can get back into VWAP. NVIDIA needs to break that 133 for the continuation. I still have a set break for 19.5 on CCL, which has not filled yet. When we get that fill, going to join the party on them. I'm going to make the assumption, yeah, Tesla's back through 241 as well. So Tesla even starting to recover. Like that candle on the NASDAQ. It's a great reversal candle. Yeah, man, we're monsters right now. We do have that Dollar Club winner, obviously, in Amazon right there. Easily dwarfing everything that I have right now, Amazon and CCL. So we continue to go. Was that a call for Adara? All right, then go.
Looks like it's going to be another great day for small caps. We have Momentous, MNTS, making new high of day, as we speak, up almost 90% here, announcing a NASA contract, which will allow the company to provide launch services for some future missions for the agency. In terms of details here for MNTS, it has rallied in the past. Right now, I'm seeing a market cap of $10.6 million, guys. We're currently up more than 90%.
Yeah, a milli there for sure. Okay, what's coming back down is NVIDIA. So it goes up to that 132.75 or so area there, and now drops back in. So there it comes back in right now for NVIDIA. Yeah, so it looks like we'll both probably, I hope you're able to stay green there, because here comes NVIDIA to the downside right now through 132. So we're in this name now, 132.75 long here on NVIDIA.
So it gave me both fills. I was able to get that fill right at the previous close price. So we got right to the previous close. Then we got out at the local bottom, just throw stop, hit stop, we're out. I don't know where the next stop is going to be in terms of support, but the next place we'll look at it is 131.5, 131 even. Just wait for your shot for an entry point. You get the bounce, great. If you don't, then jump out of it. Apple, which was holding, if we don't hold 226, I don't want to be holding on to this one. So I'm going to jump out of this if we lose the 226 level, and then wait for VWAP. Really just only traded those two names. CCL still hasn't triggered for me. I'm not going long at 1955. It's a break of 1950. The order just goes out to 1956. I'm just crossing up there, not using a market order. So that's just indicating how far I'm going to throw it if we break the 19.5. Still hasn't happened just yet. So Apple back through 226. We'll have to wait for the next available dip buy. The thing that's still going while the market just pulled back, Tesla, oddly enough. Tesla carrying through VWAP. That last pullback on pretty much everything, I see Tesla holding VWAP in here. So suddenly looking pretty good on TSLA, but preaching a little bit of patience here as, we're still in kind of bleed zone on some of these chip names. Wow, well, look what happened to TSM.
Oh, let me see. What's that?
Load. This is the problem with the chip space right now. TSM, which was gapped up, is still bleeding. I'm going to throw this one up on a chart just to make sure that I have it, because I don't know that I want a bounce play if this isn't going to participate. This is a 3-minute on TSM. You're down $6 here. Where's support on the stock? Well, it was here. Now what, 180? Either here or 180 is the bounce spot on TSM. It's getting nasty in chipland.
Yeah, oh yeah. We just got stopped out there, so we'll lose $1.20 or so on Nvidia. It's still fine. I mean, it's never fine when you wind up losing, but that was a play that we wanted to take. So we talked about being properly sized. So I mean, I don't feel any ways about it today like we did on AMD yesterday. But at the end of the day, yeah, it needs to try to battle back. Maybe a 132 break longer now gets this, but you can see the futures. The futures are, it's funny because we have Amazon. Amazon's $1. We already took that. This one could not go $1. So we'll go reverse dollar on this one the other way around. SMCI could be a trade as well. I still like NVIDIA. I'm still holding it. I only got out of 75% there, but we are trying to bounce again right now. It's too bad. That happened to me yesterday where we actually wind up getting out basically at the bottom and then watch it rip back up. So maybe that happens here again for NVIDIA. Maybe it doesn't. But at the end of the day, that's our stop. It's like we got hunted yesterday on our stop, and it looks like today, again, it might be the same thing. Yesterday, we stopped out of AMD at the very bottom of the day, only to see it go up and close at its highs. So it's kind of weird for that one. But again, 131.50. I mean, I don't know. We can use a longer base candle maybe. That's 131 flat right there to see if we can get anything going. But we're back into NVIDIA now, and I just would hate to have gotten stopped out at the top, which we might have done, or maybe we didn't. Maybe that was a grayed out right there. The future's still flat on the day. I mean, we're down, but I mean, we've had a little bit of an up and down movement. So now let's see if that continues lower. We still have that 20,200 to look at for the futures. That was a key level. We've talked about that, not just today. I mean, this is overnight right there, but we did hold that level again. So maybe that's in and around where the bouncing spot would be there for the futures. But for right now, let's just sit on our hands and wait to see if we can do anything. Again, up on Amazon, obviously, as that continues to go off those bids, and then our CCL break was good. We're just 2 for 3 here, but it's NVIDIA. It's the biggest one. So we'll be red right now because NVIDIA fell and we weren't able to get anything out. So right now, we'll wait to see if it can battle back. I'm still confident. We'll see what happens with NVIDIA.
Yeah, I'm seeing SMCI holding above 46 even. So I complained that it needed to hold above that level, and it is while the market's at the lows. So that puts it in relative strength zone. I'm on the bid here in front of VWAP. I want to give it to 45.8 if I can sort of weasel my way in, because I just saw Sharif just sit down.
Okay, here we go.
Smelling the eggs a little bit. There's back through the, all right, you know what? You're back through yesterday's low on TSM. That was the indication for me that we can get the chip bounce. So I just went to NVIDIA as it broke 132. I just was trying to get the bid here on SMCI, but I don't think we're going to be able to get that bid. But this is what just happened on TSM.
Wow, this happened to me
TSM
again.
broke through yesterday's low. Well, that was the recovery we're looking for, so it happened. We're going to get that 132. I'd love to be able to add SMCI to the list as well, because it's 2%, and it never really threatened you to the downside the same way the other chip names did. So we'll get to 132.5. Look for the first out there in NVIDIA. I still want to pick up some SMCI. Its relative strength is, to me, obvious at this particular point. So this certainly should be the one, at least I think, if we're able to pick it up here. But I don't want to chase it up at the top.
Look at NVIDIA.
It doesn't feel like it's the kind of morning that you want to be chasing anything. Try to be patient.
At the bottom again.
Try to be patient with it. If I buy those highs, I'm going to hate myself. Adara?
No, we're going to be up on it at the end of the day.
In TSLA, we have Ming-Chi Kuo. This is the supply chain analyst who's spoken about Apple, spoke about NVIDIA last week, just released a tweet here on Tesla saying that that his supply chain survey analysis here indicates that the robotaxi might actually not enter mass production until Q1 2027. So that short term, this could potentially be a bit of an issue, and the rally might be, quote, overly optimistic. Said that also this trend represents a promising future, but, quote, more patience may be needed before it arrives. Though it is worth noting as well, Ming-Chi Kuo does qualify that this note is more for short-term analysis, and long-term investors can, quote, disregard this analysis. So again, Ming-Chi Kuo saying that this rally for the Cybertruck, robotaxi might be overly optimistic, guys.
So we did it again. We take the absolute bottom again for a chip name. This happened yesterday, almost the exact same situation. This was a little bit later, so I feel much, much better about it. But that's okay, guys, because we reloaded, and now we've got a big one on right here. I said to Sharif, Sharif's like, oh man, that's kind of like bad luck. This stuff happens. It's back-to-back days. But at the end of the day, you got to battle back and be strong, right? So we took it out. We're out of now half of this trade as it comes all the way back up there to the upside. It's going to be, I mean, the Amazon trade and the CCL trade are absolute monsters. So hopefully you guys have those. And we'll just wait to see now. Sit on our hands a little bit, right? We had to absorb that move down on the futures. Now we have it. And again, I'll say this all the time. Like, I trade like 10x, sometimes even 20 times the shares of others on this name. So it is very, very difficult when obviously the stocks drop down and you have to have your stops. So it's like, without losing months or days like that on certain trades, I have to stop out. So there's two ways that I can either change this, either use less shares so I can hold it a little bit longer, or just really just man up and just wait to see if certain levels are breaking or if they're not. Unfortunately, I picked that level there, 130, 150. I like that trade, but at the same time, there's my level right there. So we got to stop out when that hits, right? And so thankfully, today, we didn't have as many shares on NVIDIA as what we did on AMD yesterday, but we still had enough shares to get hit there. So we'll see. Now let's wait to see if it can battle back. But again, just the fact that we trade like that, once it moves like this, I can start to scalp out a little bit. But waiting for that bigger move really makes the big difference. It hit us $1 to the downside. So we're just taking like 70, 50, 60, 70 cents now to the upside. We still will be red on this name, but at the same time, we got to try to battle back and make it back, right? So, so far so good here on NVIDIA on the second play, but the market, I don't know how healthy that is. I mean, I know you were long Apple there. I don't know if that wound up working out, because Apple, to me, you know, if that keeps going, then I think the market can go. But these chip names right now, oh man, they're giving me a heart attack.
You know, the first long was great on Apple. The second one through 226 was a bit of a failed break. It got to 40s. Here, I'm going to show you NVIDIA in a second, but I'll go to Apple because you mentioned it. Apple did not break the $0.50 on the 226 break, and that was an abject failure on the breakout, even though you're able to take some profit out. I got out and was looking for a VWAP bounce. I got into NVIDIA because of the TSM move, and now Apple's bouncing off VWAP. So I want to be back into this. It could just be the 26, or maybe it's going to be VWAP. But I said you can't say we want to be patient and then not be patient with it. So NVIDIA was a re-entry back through 32. So at least a couple times, make the low, back up through. Same thing here, but it needs to hold a higher low, push through to VWAP. That's what has to happen next. But I feel like the next trade is going to be, for me, CCL is a 19.5. Yeah. I just realized, and it was a keystroke error on my part, and thankfully I pulled up the chart to realize this, that I must have canceled my stop at some point when I thought I was canceling another order. So I'm just going to throw my stop back in there. We're breaking long if it goes through that 19.5 zone. NVIDIA, we want VWAP next. Apple, as I said, looking for the next consolidation dip. That was more like a wick into VWAP. You didn't really have a clean entry point. At least I don't think there was a very clean entry point to get into Apple, unless you were sitting on the bid in front of VWAP. It's still trending upside. Obviously, the original long better than the breakout trade, which was more of a flat trade than anything else. And we'll look to add to this one. The market seemingly made its bottom. What concerns me a bit is TSM is now breaking back lower. So back underneath yesterday's lows. It needs to put in a higher low. Feel like this is the reason it really led the bleeding in the chip space. Until it gets healthy, I don't know that we're going to have the health that you want to get that crazy upside. Oh, and the other name, of course, is SMCI. I said I did not want to chase SMCI. Well, chasing would have worked out, but hey, if you break your rule and then chase a move when you don't think you should, sometimes the market's going to reward you, but then other times you start doing it 10 times out of 10, and then that one hit is going to get you burned. But yeah, SMCI is on a bit of a tear. The good news is you have a huge gap that this can be filling in here. And if we're just starting, previous high, dip back in, maybe 46.5, just got to try to pick up the trend here on SMCI. This is the one that's going. Appreciate you, day trader cut there. And ACK in the chat. Google is not looking very good either. But you know what? I wasn't really looking short at the bottom on Alphabet, so I didn't see an entry. It didn't give you an entry up top either.
Yeah, 130, 180s. That bottom for NVIDIA is 131.45. or so. Okay, CCL, we're just looking at this, man. It looks like it does want to break 50. I mean, it's back up here again right now trying to break it. I'll put an offer here. There we go. Okay, so we get out at 50 there. So that's good. We're long at 25. So again, good trade, but we did just take some out there, key level breaking. I'm fine with it. I mean, I think it's going to be a good long. I know Neil just hit it right now. But again, you got to be careful with what you're doing. I like it. Let's see if it continues to go now. CCL, we're only in 20% of what we had left. Again, taking it with a little more shares there, trying to break it to the upside. And then that's kind of the trade that I'm looking for pretty much all of the time. So we'll sit on that one and wait. All right. So the other trade that we have, I mean, let's go. I mean, Amazon, if you're wanting some money on Amazon, man, did we have an opportunity to take it, and we did. So we only have 20% of this name left, which has been pretty good. Again, we took some out at VWAP. We took some out at the 200. At that time, the 200 was 183. We actually got some out at 183.20 right there. But now you're falling back in. So I want to bring that to everyone's attention. Watch out for 182 here as a possible reload for Amazon. I don't know if it's going to get there. I hope it does. So that we can reload, but I'd rather get out of a little bit more first. So we'll put an order at the 50 period if we can get that back at 183. All right, come on, NVIDIA, man, make it go now. If we can get it, we are waiting for 132.50s. We'll get a piece out, just a piece. I mean, you know what? Like, why am I even worried about that? Let me take a 39 fill if we can get it right now. Come on. Oh, no, it looks like that doesn't want to get up that high. Okay, well, maybe it does. Buy it back, baby. All right, we'll take a 30 then, whatever. See, we just keep on offering, and by offering, I keep on missing, right? So if I just punched out instead of offering 38s, we would have got 35s or 36s. Now we're down here into the 20s, running away from our order. It's a little strange. There goes NVIDIA. I guess I shouldn't have said we wanted to sell. I should have said I'm not selling, and then maybe that would have ripped higher there. But here we go. Oh, we just missed this again. We're at 20. We're at 30s right now. It just went to 28s. Let's just see if we can scalp it out. There it is. Okay, so we're long at 75s, right? And so to be able to take this out for 55 cents is fine. We did lose $1 on a bigger piece on the way down. But again, we only got out to 75% there, so we did a little bit better. Hold it, then we reloaded it back there to the upside. So NVIDIA right now, although it will be a red stock, it'll be the reddest stock. But that always happens, right? We'll always have the biggest winners and the biggest losers. So we'll hopefully not the biggest losers, but we'll wait to see. Here we go, NVIDIA. Here it goes, man. I mean, I don't want to give up on this name as it's still going, man. Shout out to Sharif, who's like, dude, this day is still early, and it still is. It's only 9:56, and here it goes, man. Dollar club the other way now on NVIDIA. So we're happy with that one. Let's see if Amazon can continue to climb up. CCL has been a champ, as you guys know. Amazon 183. Let's put an offer.
Yeah, absolutely. CCL broke that 1950 level, stacked offer at 70s. So, if you're watching the tape or the level 2 on that one, sometimes they make it really obvious where you'll see like a big size in there. It'll stall in front of an even dollar and pull back. TSM made another lower high, or higher low, I should say, and a lower high, I guess. So it's still kind of trending down. So another higher low on NVIDIA, stop now 132. So catching it on the back end. Let it do like the you-know-what candle, FU candle, if that's what you're calling it, then back up through, did the same thing. TSM made another bottom. We got long, but it's not breaking the $0.50. So now I'm going to tighten the stop up underneath this 32. It's still looking a little bit heavy here, and TSM is still underneath that previous close price. So I'm going to duck out at 132 and always just look for another place to get back in. We're trying to get it on that strength and see if it can hold. I mentioned that CCL turned at 1970. There it is. Looking to get back into this. VWAP's creeping here at 19.4. The other thing for CCL is you're now, at least now you've got a bit of a trend that's formed. So we have a nice little trend line. You can connect a couple of dots here. The ideal is that this lines up with the breakout price for a dip buy and not necessarily VWAP, and that's a 19.5 for myself on the daily chart. Apple is still holding, no dip into VWAP for Apple. It just held above 226 here, so no VWAP dip on Apple just yet. Don't want to make a misstep now. The market, well, Apple's holding the consolidation high. The NASDAQ is holding underneath that early support that we had. If it's holding above, then I like the strength a little bit better, but you're holding underneath for a potential retake of the low of the day. So I'm not going to rush into this trade in Apple. And we're very close. Actually just came a couple cents away from trailing out of NVIDIA. Now it's bouncing off 32 again. So I want us to be breaking back above this support in the NASDAQ, climbing higher, then look for some re-entries into the long. Patience is the way to go here, just trying to keep it as simple as possible. I know there's a few names that I was supposed to be trading, but I have to wait for Boeing to calm down. We missed our chance, any chance, unless you were shorting Boeing at the open. That was your only shot. And now you're just trying to get back into this 152. It's like, let it get back all the way. That is a hefty, hefty volume candle to the downside. If you short it underneath this level, I think you're not wrong till it breaks out that opening range, which is $1.30 away. That's too much room to give it not to wait for the top.
We're going to get out some more. There it is. Thank you. We'll get out some more here on NVIDIA. Man, this turned out to be a pretty decent day, boys and girls, because CCL was really something special there. It went up to 70s right there. I mean, I think we take another piece out right now. Let's go a 69er. This is a big trade, man. A $19 stock, long right off the open right there, and it was a great one off the sticky note. So there it goes, higher and higher and higher goes CCL. Okay, we've got some numbers. It's 959.30. Let's go over to Adara.
About 30 seconds here until we get those economic numbers. Today is going to be the month-over-month change in wholesale inventories for August. Previous print was 0.3%. Analysts are looking for 0.2%. That's both the consensus and the forecast. We also have so many Fed speakers to watch out for throughout the day. Fed's Logan still making some comments, most recently saying that the energy sector could be positively impacted by rate cuts, directly calling out the energy sector. So keep an eye on names in that sector. Now we're just 5 seconds away from this print. Let's see what we get here. So I'm seeing 0.1% in your wholesale inventories month over month, so a little bit lower than the consensus of 0.2%. Also looks like we got a downward revision here to 0.2% here from the previous print. We still have the S&P 500 trying to push higher here, resting at this previous area of resistance around 573.5. So let's see how this goes. NASDAQ, as of the last time I checked, slightly weaker here than the S&P 500, slightly down in the day, but right now, we have a bit of a curl upwards on the SPY. Let's see how all of this resolves. There's so many stocks to keep an eye out for today, including these cruise lines. We have NCLH up here. This one getting an upgrade to buy and a price target increase from $20 to $30 from Citigroup. We also know that there's been a lot of strength in the cruise line sector. As of yesterday as well, we had the pullback in oil prices and some of these travel-related names starting to run. Also on the travel side, though, more to the downside, we have Boeing, BA, down about 2.5% here. Right before the close, we had this news here that S&P Global is considering putting it to junk for its credit rating. And then we also have the machinist strike going to continue here as Boeing withdrew its contract offer. So let's keep an eye on in this market as we head into the rest of the day, guys.
Junk rating is not good.
No, I still can't believe we made the bottom for NVIDIA, but that's all good, man. We're completely comfortable because there goes NVIDIA now, hugely in the money, man. We're in the money now at $1.10. We just took some out there at 70s as it continues to go higher. So let's just wait. I mean, why not 134 again? You know, so we'll just wait to see if this can go. We get 134, we're fine. So let's wait to see. Even less than that is fine. But nice move up, man. Let's see if we can go. $1.33 is VWAP. Maybe we'll take a piece out. I'm sitting here very, very casual because we are very, very pleased. But let's put something out in and around that 33s. Thank you, Fabian, for that one. Let's just see what happens right now. It's really, honestly, man, it's CCL and Amazon are huge trades. Amazon's come back in, but CCL, like, again, the last time, like, this is on the sticky note. I want to shout out to Neil because he's like, thank you for bringing this to the attention because it is a good trade right there. CCL continues to go 50 cents, just bought it right off the open. And we even wrote it down here. Here it is. I'll just show you on this. We wrote down 19.25 right there for CCL and talked about it, that we liked it. We talked about why oil, and unfortunately, as oil comes down, I mean, it's much better for the cruise line. So obviously oil's coming down on Milton, which we hope for the best. But there goes CCL, man, just continuously climbing higher and higher and higher. So this is going to be a big stock. This P&L number one will actually be Amazon on the show today, but CCL will be right behind it. So Neil and I both have these trades, and this has been pretty good so far.
Yeah, if that gets to 20, I'm expecting there's going to be like a couple million shares on the offer at $20 on CCL. I'm going to throw a weekly chart of that stock in a quick little second, but we waited for the next available dip on Apple. I came in today determined that when we're playing these, after what happened in NVIDIA yesterday, it was like, every single time I was in long, I was in the wrong direction. It's like buying this level instead of this one. So try to let it make the bottom. This is where you traps longs. then you hold here, and then back above, and then buy here. Like, that's generally the idea. So we'll try to form that pattern. We break out the high. I want the mid-quarters there on Apple. We already mentioned CCL. NVIDIA's at 133. This is where kind of push comes to shove for me. If it breaks back above, the original entry I liked was above the 133. So if it gets to here, I see longs above VWAP breaking out 133.5. So if we get to there, there's going to be another place to get in. If we fail the 133, I do not need this going back into the bottom. But TSM is at the point where it could break out as well. So I'm kind of eyeball TSM here at that 184. If it breaks out, you hold through VWAP. If it fails, I want to trail out of NVIDIA and wait for another bottom. If we break VWAP here, I probably just trail it at the 133 even. So that's going to continue to work. I mentioned I wanted to go to CCL and show you guys a weekly chart. Right now, all three are in the money, so don't want to be too worried about them. We have our plan of action.
There goes NVIDIA.
There we go, So CCL, the reason I wanted to show you guys the weekly chart is just how significant this sucker is at $20. So this is the $20 level on the weekly. I'm expecting there's going to be a boatload of shares. So separate trade if it gets through that 20 even for myself on CCL. It's at 1980. I'm offering already at 95. VWAP here, NVIDIA cruising, Apple cruising, CCL cruising. Thankfully, no hits today. A little bit different. Want to be really patient with the entries and try to catch them only on the way back up. One misstep was NVIDIA. That was too early. Now we look to hold VWAP. Oh, it doesn't hold VWAP. Guys, I'm on the offer now.
We got out of NVIDIA at 133 right there, so hit the damn sirens. This is basically now a flat day for us. Like, that's unbelievable. I was just telling Fabian how unbelievable of a recovery that is for me. Like, we got out of 30%, or sorry, we held 25%. We got out of 75%. Like, the fact that we're up or close to being up right now after having that, like, if this doesn't happen, if NVIDIA just bounces like 5 more cents and doesn't make that move down, then oh boy, what a day, what a day. It's because look what just happened to Amazon. We talked about that right now. Amazon will be PL1. There's nothing can stop it, even if CCL goes through the roof right now. Amazon, nice move upside right there, continuously going. We just got another piece out there at 182.90 off of a 182 bottom. So, I mean, that's really, really helping us out right now. So, yeah, we'll wait to see on that one. CCL's going, Amazon's going. I'm just looking for some more trades. I mean, honestly, Coinbase, I think it could be at a level right there. We like to look at Mara, Coinbase, Bitcoin, IBIT. I mean, now you're down to 61.8 again here, so there could be maybe a trade there potentially for Coinbase. I mean, you're bouncing off the 200 period right now. Oh, Amazon, there is,
Rivian.
There is no news and noise, I was going to say, about Rivian right now. Amazon is starting to roll out some Rivian delivery trucks. So I guess that's good on Rivian. The more people will see of Rivian out there, the better it is going to be for Rivian. I mean, my wife already wants one. So that could be a problem for your boy. But right now, here we go, man. It's still all about NVIDIA for me as that continues to go higher. So there it goes. Palantir breaks 42. Wow. We should have been buying this one. We had written down here 41.25, and that seemed to have been the bottom. But there goes Palantir taking out the top. We're long underneath 42. So I don't know what just happened right there. Maybe we broke it but didn't. I might get out and then get back in. Wow, Neil, Amazon is absolutely the money shot. Oh my God, you want money shots? Look at NVIDIA right now. Bang on that one. Oh boy, man, this is don't call it a comeback, but we're on one right now. We just need Palantir to do that dance as well, and then we'll see what's going on there. But nice move upside here as we are cruising. $1.70 in the money. We'll go to there in a minute. $1.70 in the money on NVIDIA. $1.30 in the money on Amazon. 50 cents on CCL. Palantir's a dime piece. Oh boy, man, it's a chicken dinner winner day right here for all of you. I hope you're having it. Let's go to Adara now.
Just now saw a story here on RIV and Amazon announcing that it's going to deploy 1,000 EV vans here, delivery vans from Rivian. They're going to also have vision-assisted package retrieval. This will be by early 2025. So this is going to be 1,000 Rivian electric delivery trucks here being deployed by early 2025, saying that they're also apparently going to use lights within the trucks to guide deliveries to correct packages. So this looks like a positive catalyst potentially for both RIVN and AMZN. Rivian just got a nice little volume spike here, guys.
A great one. Look at Palantir. We were like, what is Guanin with this one? But 42.18 right now is what's going on with Palantir as it continues to go higher and higher and higher. This is the thing, man. We talk about trading more shares. When you do it, you also have an opportunity to make it back, right? And so there it goes right there. We hit Palantir with no fear. We hit Amazon with no fear. And we hit CCL. So right now we are absolutely spinning right here in this market and just continues going. Let's see how high Palantir could go. We said it even in our note. This stock always goes for a dump and then gets bought back up. Unfortunately, we did not buy the dip. We buy the breakout there in Palantir. We are out of 2/3 of that play, man. That went all the way to 42.20. We already saw what happens, man. Stocks can go bad against you real quick. So we are going to get out of that one. And then also, man, ring that register for $1.70 on NVIDIA. 133.40 right there on that one. Man, that's a good day here again. It's only 10:10. We're just getting heated up right now.
Yeah, it's all heated. The market is still continuing to churn higher. I'm going to take, first thing that wasn't in the plan of action today because Rivian News hit, right? So it wasn't in the plan. You don't know that headline's going to come in, but double top in here at 1075. You know 1080 was a level I'd mentioned. A few people have already said you're going to short Rivian at 1080, not when there's a story. So breaking out the top, it almost got to $11. Pull back in, bounce off VWAP, go long, back through that high, lose VWAP, get out. I'm offering on the way back into first resistance. I think $11 is going to be probably a level here on Rivian. We're still in CCL. That's not really, now you're getting a consolidation next level up here on TCL. I'm going to pop up the next plan for myself. That trend, we're gone off this trend. You're now breaking out. So I want to look at something like this here, or maybe I should be joining that above that 19.5. So if we can hold on to this trend line, push into 20 even, if we break this 19.5 reentry, I think we're back to square one if we lose the trend, or at least for myself. Back to square one if we get back to 19.5. Want to try to make it all make sense in here. You're up 5 points. Market's taking out the highs. I don't love the fact that we got high on Apple. And then again, like Apple, you get the reload on Apple out to the high of the day, and then it just doesn't really follow through. So now it's on the back end again. Now I want to look for that next available buy in Apple. Let it bounce, get in after it bounces. Not going to try and catch the falling knife with this. Try to keep it relatively simple, but very, very patient with the entry. Be able to get out, be able to get back in here is going to be the name of the game. That's worked so far this morning. It's what I didn't do yesterday. It's what I definitely want to make sure we're doing going forward. So we got our first outs there in Rivian. I'm going to reload off VWAP, see if we can't get a push into that $11. If it breaks 11, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
All right. Oh, man. We just tweeted it out again. I mean, this is on the sticky note. We have Palantir log 42. We have CCL long 1925. Both of those have been huge. We found in the wild, we found Amazon, which has been absolutely huge to the upside. It will be. I mean, P&L number one is now going to be looked at as possibly. Where's my damn hat? I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking that honestly, after today, we may have to go and upgrade these glasses because Palantir is that stock for your boy. Right now, 42.30, man. We are loaded up on the PA on this one. And there it goes, man, through $42. Look, if I liked it at $9, I mean, what are we thinking about it now at 42.50? It's still going higher and higher and higher right there. You want some swing trade? I mean, we sold Alibaba at 117. It doesn't matter what Alibaba is at right now. Who cares? All right, thank you, Fabian. Thank you very much. But there it goes, continuously going upside. There's Palantir off the 42 bid right here on the sticky note. We haven't had Palantir on here in a minute, but we put it on there today. 41 long, 42 break long, take it. Look, see what this says here? Take it. This is not like, oh, I'm looking at this level. If it goes there, we'll adjust our plan of action or anything like that. Once it was there, we went right in immediately and we were like, oh my God, if it breaks 42, we want it. But for some reason, it broke, fell down 3 cents, and then continued to go higher and higher and higher. So there it goes, man. It's Palantir and it's Moon City right now for that name. And then NVIDIA also, it's not one, but we're looking to make $2 here on NVIDIA back to the upside. And we're basically green. We'll have a couple more ticks and we will be green. We took, again, a pretty big hit right there, and we We had talked about that, but thankfully we got out of 75% of, well, not thankfully, I wish we got out of 25%, but it breaks there. And then we just, as soon as it held and it retook 132 and 131.50, 131.75, we just started to buy this thing right back up. You got to believe in some stocks. And if you do that, then that is what it is right now. So, you know, D-Loaf, look, we don't talk about share sizes, but I already sort of said that already today about some of the differences there. So you guys can sort of use the math and figure that out. But here we go, man. NVIDIA, Palantir continuously going right now. CCL also 55 cents, 56 cents to the upside there. And then Amazon. I'm wondering about Amazon now. It is a good story. I mean, sure, they're deploying some Rivian trucks. I mean, I think that's great. I think it's great for their future as well, for Rivians, but also for Amazon. I mean, I think it's a good story there. And the reason why is that you're going to have the carry forward trade, right? So, I mean, the more and more that Amazon and Rivian start using some of these, the technologies, right, of EV is going to make them more efficient, I hope. So whether or not, you know, they have an upside play moving forward now on Amazon, I don't know, but we're long. We are just taking that long early. We noticed that it was strong in the market versus the market. So the fact that it's going up is really nice, but this is kind of like what we expected here to have happen to us on Amazon. So it's a good move there. I wish we would have still had the whole boat. We still have that 20% that we talked about on AMZN. Palantir just continues to go, 42.50. Let's get a piece out at 42.39 or so if we can do that. That is the high of the day, 42.36. So we're right here right now. Let's just get another piece out. I mean, 42.50, it could stop. There's nothing to look at here, but Palantir just continues to grow and you know, really have a nice little relationship here. I just feel like it gets bought up all the time. I was saying that we may get out of some of this, and I think that might be something. Again, stocks can continue to moon forever and forever, but this is a big trade right here. $32 this was back September 10th. You know, so you're a month and you've gained 30% on this name. So there goes Palantir. Oh boy, that is your chicken dinner winner right there. So it's more than chicken. We just got some out of 42.39 as we go, and then look what's happening to NVIDIA. It is approaching the double dollar club right now, known here to all of our families in Canada as a toonie trade. So there it goes right there to the upside goes NVIDIA. Big winner. Let's just wait. I said 134, right? So let's try to stick to that. We'll see if we can get something in and around 134. What about 133.80? Let's put an offer right there. This is going meme crazy right now. So we'll put another offer right there on NVIDIA. We're still watching out for CCL. And Amazon's at highs. So yeah, we're rocking right now.
Yeah, we're rocking at this point. I mean, I have a trail in the CCL. I don't think anything needs to change, but there were a couple of super chats. Apologies to Juan Alejandro Castro here, because you did mention a couple times here super chats. We appreciate you. Max N, tradable now, question mark. So everyone's going to have their own like litmus or I guess rules for trading. For myself, when you reverse split, there's obviously, you know that fundamentally what's happening is just, less liquidity is going to be in there when you reverse split. You know, it looks like it was just a 1 for 10 here. It's on 330,000 shares. So that to me is a no. The spread on a $7 stock right now is 7 pennies, which effectively on a $7 stock, it's like a 1% spread, and there's no liquidity, there's no volume on it. So I would suppose if you're swing trading things like this, it can make some sense. But I'm not touching it. And usually when you have a reverse split, I mean, the levels don't really matter. I'm waiting for like some kind of a fail for when it's going to inevitably be a short. But yeah, 340,000 shares is a no-go for me on just about anything. Like I can't imagine a scenario that I'd want to be trading something which has no liquidity. It'll never be scalable. You develop a strategy on something which will never be scalable, and it's like you don't necessarily want to be getting into that game. So it might not be the answer that you want, but tried and true. One of the things I've always believed in is if you care about somebody, tell them what you think. If you care about yourself, tell them what they want to hear. So you might want to hear, hey, this got these levels, I would be trading it. This is just not the truth. So I can't tell you that I would trade Max N because I don't think anybody on the floor with that little volume would. I didn't get the reload here on Rivian. I thought we'd maybe get into VWAP at 1070. It's holding that 1075 entry point. Looking for the next press up, we get the high of the day. I thought I was already in offer, but I'm going to go there now in front of the high. I meant to put in 89s, not 88, so we'll go to 89 and go to the desk with Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by Trade the Pool. Trade the Pool allows traders like you to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital. No PDT rule holding you back. That's how they give a true trading edge. Here's the exciting part. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program to evaluate stock traders like you. For a one-time fee of just $97, you'll receive $20,000 in buying power. And all you have to do is reach the profit goal. The best part of this limited edition program is that they've reduced the profit goal and the minimum trades required to reach the funded phase. And the profit split has been upgraded, so you keep 70% of the profits. You should definitely want to check this out. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description for more information.
Thank you very much there, Adara. You're absolutely right. Glenn Smith, Tesla's at 246. You know, it was a huge V-shaped recovery, not just in the market, but also for Tesla. And when you're breaking out those highs, I mean, it can change the litmus. Like you have, obviously it's already broken this top in here, but not the 46 even level. It's how it comes in. I've taken one fill that I feel like was against the grain in terms of, I was trying to catch the bid and just play the price instead of actually playing the stock and what it's doing. And that would be just jumping out in front of it. So I don't want to jump out in front of Tesla. It has to either set up a short here or it's still going to be a breakout through 246.25. I want to take out 46, confirm above, take the 25, maybe the quarter break, give it underneath that 46 level, and then let it try to ride to the upside. CCL, the trail's already in. We already mentioned Rivian. Apple, I feel like the last time it might have wicked me out, but we'll look for another entry here. We've had it 3 times, and until it gets to this 227.5, I still think you can look for additional long trades here on AAPL. So it bounced off VWAP. It's been wicking. See like what's going on here with Apple? Like it gives you like these wicks and you almost have to quickly jump back into that side. So kind of missed this opportunity, not wanting to chase it too far. So you get the whipsaw action, still up on it, but should still be in Apple. The next time it does a dip, I'm going to wait for some wick like that because I'm not in it. And then I'll play off the long when we get that price action back through. So I think that's your opportunity here. Like they're really gobbling Apple up after it takes out any key level back to the downside. I think that's going to be the key, trying to re-enter that trade to the long. And the good part is we don't have any trouble getting back into it. CCL still kind of consolidative up here off of 1970. I'm going to move my trail as it continues to try to hold on to the trend here on CCL. Up 5 points, RCL obviously going as well. Just if you're looking at some of those chip names, my eyes are now over at TSM, which just got to VWAP and a little bit of a pullback. I feel like this could be a really key turning point, watching SMCI and NVIDIA in lockstep. NVIDIA turning at pre-market lows. If it bounces off 133 and TSM can hold 184, then I want the long off VWAP. But I don't necessarily want to be fighting against the TSM move because that's what's been leading these chips so far. Let's go to Adara because it's time for the small cap recap.
IWM starting to look pretty bearish here. We got a topping tail candle here in the 3-minute chart, followed by looking like it's going to be 3 straight candles to the downside, though it's worth noting some of the bullish volume is a little bit stronger than some of the bearish volume as of right now on that Russell 2000. In terms of small caps here, we're going to start here with Helen of Troy, HELE. This one is not a micro cap by any means. It's about $1.7 billion market cap from what I can see here. The reported earnings this morning beating across the board here for HELE with a just under 10% short float. Next up, we have HOLO. This is Microcloud Hologram. You might remember this one because it had quite the rally on and off for most of the latter half of the month of February 2024. HOLO, not any catalyst that I'm seeing on it. I saw it hold it for news last night, though I never was able to find what happened there. They also have held it a couple times today, and we've got a float of about 20 million shares here. Last but not least, this is a day 2 move here for BURU, removed from its high of day, but still up about 15%. On Monday night, they announced they've received $65 million in financing here from Liquius. It's worth noting here, too, this is pretty significant because New Buru has a market cap of just around $5 million. We do have about a 5.5% short float from what I'm seeing here, and a float of roughly 3 million shares, guys.
Wow. So just very quickly here on Palantir is a rock.
Palantir
The market,
is a
the
monster.
V-shaped recovery on the market was incredibly impressive. So Tesla, I said I'm not going to just sit out in front of it and let it run me over. So I've got since it broke here, this is the trend until it closes on 3-minute, close underneath, that's the entry. And then out at the local high. So that's the plan of action. It needs to close underneath the trend line, not, ooh, it kind of breaks the trend line and I get short, which I've done before. Like short it here, I'd be short right now at 244.90 if I wasn't waiting for the actual setup. It needs to close underneath. Otherwise, this is going to be a hold and a breakout of the top. So Tesla looks like it's going to be the next entry point for me because Apple's through that high. We're almost going to get that 1090 over there in Rivian. Shout out for that news, the Amazon news. I think better for Rivian than it is for Amazon because Amazon's Amazon and Rivian needs all the help that it can get. But hey, if you like the show, like the show. A wise man once said. So if you're into it and you want to engage in the chat, remember it's a subscribers only chat. We're here for you. If you want to ask us questions like that Max N, no worries. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button, throw it in there. We'll get to it if we can, when we can, because that's what we try to do here at Trader TV Live. So far, so good. No missteps just yet, but about to take first short if we close under here on Tesla. Market's ripping high, but it's got to show me the setup. If it doesn't, we don't take it.
Market ripping high, yeah, that is for damn sure. I mean, I said this yesterday on the after recap show. The Fed is with you now. You just be buying all the dips, man. And I mean, and that's been working so far here since Fed. And yeah, it just keeps on getting bought up, right? You have one negative day, and it's just like, nope, that's enough. We'll be back the next day. And even yesterday, continued move here. Give me that 70. I'm at 78. That is crazy that it's not filling me there at 78 on NVIDIA. I might as well just go right here at 74. See if we can grab it. Give me that 74. There it is. That's your official first $2 winner there today. So we'll go $2 on that. I mean, that's exactly the play that we wanted right there for NVIDIA. It's really too bad that we had gotten some out there at the bottom, but that's okay. We'll make it back right there. NVIDIA really going. And like I said, the loss on this name is now like basically in the pocket. There's like nothing that I can complain about now, especially in life, but definitely in trading. I mean, this move here on Palantir, let's just go, man. Let's just give some props where props are due, I feel like, on this name. Like, not just for this trade, but just for the stock in general. Another 3% to the upside on Palantir. You know, this will probably be on the note again tomorrow right now. Okay, we're flat. So we are now flat on the day. So honestly, man, I will face slap myself on that one because you know, with the amount of shares and what we did here on NVIDIA, got stopped out at 75% of that. To be back to zeros on the day is like, for me, really something. So we'll take it, man. The confidence is honestly at all-time highs right now for trading. And I mean, you know, the proof is really in the pudding. I mean, if we don't have that, I mean, look what else we have today. Amazon's $1. These are the trades we have. We have NVIDIA. It's going to be a good one. We could hopefully go green on it. So we have NVIDIA. We have Amazon right now, $1.50 in the money. CCL. These are, and not only this, these are the trades that, and again, I do take, like when you guys message me on Twitter or Instagram and things like that, you know, I do take it to heart. I read over those things. And it's like when you guys are telling me you're looking for bigger trades, you want me to talk about like where we're holding for bigger moves. You know, that's why I said NVIDIA, let's hold for 134. You know, once we make that bottom and it keeps on going, let's always get some out at VWAP and at the 50 period, but let's hold it for a little bit longer. So there's $2, right? And so we're kind of doing what we said we would do here. But at the end of the day, we're going to try to make money for ourselves and make the best decisions that we possibly can. And I just feel like we've been doing that. So there goes NVIDIA. There goes, I mean, and here's another banger too, like Palantir. You know, take that 42 break. You know where the stop was? Probably 10, 15 cents. I didn't even have time to put it in on this stock, and you can see what it's doing right now, starting to make that move upside. So good trade there on Palantir. CCL, I mean, CCL could be one of the bangers of the day. It looks like it might be that as that continues to go higher as well. So far, so good, man, on the reload. Was a rough first 10 minutes there again. So we'll figure that out, and we'll be back. But, yeah, we're doing pretty good here so far.
Absolutely. And Fabian, yes. Fabian was just asking me in the ear. The answer is the position board is correct, at least. I mean, from what I can see, it looks like it's...
Yeah, for me, I only have three, or I have four positions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just in those three. I'm not sure. Yeah, like, I don't know. Maybe it took a second to matriculate. Sometimes we'll get a fill and you'll see it. I've noticed sometimes it's 5 seconds, sometimes it's like 20, but it is absolutely correct. So Tesla it holds on to the trend. Remember, if it closed underneath, I was going to short it. Old Neil yesterday, I would have probably taken this breakdown on that wick. Instead, that's a confirmation of the trend line and a breakout of the top. Now, I've scalped out and want to add back in on the trend line until we get to, either you make a really big parabolic move that goes way far away from this trend, or you get to like a 250. I want to be playing dips into the trend and no out unless it breaks underneath the key level at the trend line, which is now just the even. CCL still doing its thing. Rivian is still basically chilling in here. It just got another higher low here. Sorry, higher low, lower high, breaking out the next level. The volume's tapered off after that Amazon news, but it never broke the top. So the news high is still the high of the day, and want to wait for this trend to come back in as well. So that's a bad-looking trend line, but you get the idea. If it holds on to this trend, we're buying dips in Rivian. So far, so good. I mean, we've been out early a couple of times. I think the one I'll be the most angry about is probably Apple. I think we got a good entry there. We tried to play it the second time through. That kind of worked and looked like it was going to go stop out. I think this one we added to it. Stop out did not get that entry back in, and now it's in that zone where it needs to break 227.5. So we got to be careful with it because this is the spot on Apple where that massive seller just sort of came in and held things up the last time it had to move like this. It spent the entirety of the day almost chopping up underneath 227.5. I think buying the dip into 226 high to 50 will make sense, but I don't want to be buying anything out up top above 227 the way it kind of responded last time. Let's go to Adair for the crypto update.
We do have here the crypto update. Pretty interesting one today. I really quickly want to address as well. We just got some EIA inventory numbers. So higher than expected crude oil inventories, lower than expected EIA gasoline and distillate inventories there. So that is the EIA numbers in a nutshell here in terms of higher, lower than expected. For crypto, we actually have a pretty different look here today. We had yesterday the release of this HBO documentary called Money Electric, the Bitcoin Mystery. It covers the beginnings of Bitcoin, and a lot of people online were excited because they actually have some theories as to who the true identity is of Satoshi Nakamoto. This was the name used by the person who authored the initial Bitcoin white paper. They suggest, apparently this documentary suggests that it could be Peter Todd. He's a Canadian software developer that was also interviewed for the documentary and apparently says, albeit sarcastically in the documentary, the words, "I am Satoshi Nakamoto." So pretty interesting story. You could check that out, I guess, on HBO if you want more information, because that just coming out here as of last night. Bitcoin itself on a now 3-day downtrend, starting with a pretty nasty topping tail candle into about the 65,000 level on Monday. The last 2 days, though, has been much smaller price action. As of right now, we're just teetering below 62,000. In terms of what we're looking at here in these other names in the crypto space, we have Ethereum actually slightly positive on the day, while Bitcoin slightly negative. We don't see that very often. Right now, Ethereum up almost 1%, just edging into that 2450 level that we looked at yesterday during the afternoon Bitcoin update. Rest of these names are pretty flat, but actually worth noting here, much like the Ethereum and Bitcoin disparity, we're seeing a lot of discrepancies here between some of these names. We've generally seen them all trading positively or negatively, but that's not the case today. We have Dogecoin and Tron up both more than 2%, and we've got other names like Cardano and Solana to the downside. So a bit of an interesting mixed picture in the crypto space today, guys.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
I mean, it's not mixed in the market, but it is mixed in the chip space.
Right.
AMD here, so I didn't notice. I mean, I put up, usually I'd be looking at NVIDIA and AMD and maybe Intel, which I haven't even checked today. But because I was watching TSM, I didn't realize what was happening to AMD. This is obviously there's something wrong with AMD. Down 1% when the market went green, when NVIDIA went green, TSM at least made a pretty solid bounce. Yeah, this one's not good. And if we do get any kind of a rollover, I'll probably be looking to AMD for some kind of short. It's at VWAP and you're making higher lows now, so I don't think don't jump into it. I'm not going to jump into it as the market's taking those highs. But if we get a bit of a curl and confirmation that there's a bit of selling coming into this, I feel like AMD is it's not looking very good for them. Remember, this is I'm not short on NVIDIA, but I had to take profit when we trailed out of it. I wanted a consolidation above VWAP. It's giving you possibly one here at that pre-market high. So I thought we'd get a consolidation a little bit longer. It's either going to give you one right here on this little pullback, or we wait in for VWAP to come back down. So the market trying to come back to the other side. All right, what's going on? CCL still doing the same thing. Rivian still doing the same thing. Matt C saying, check out MSTR. It's MAR that I usually will look at. And I was going to go to MAR after we just had that crypto segment, but this has lost the top. Like, you go into previous close and reject it, that's key, because closing prices matter more than opening prices, in my opinion. So when you double tap that, that's definite weakness. It's MARA that I generally prefer to trade, and MARA is even weaker. So MARA goes into that 16 level, rejection, underneath VWAP, and underneath support.
I wanted to cross.
Like, I prefer underneath support more than anything else. So if I get into a crypto name, I think it's MARA at 16 or MARA under yesterday's support level. I know MSTR, a lot of people like to trade it. Great. That key close price, it double topped it. Breakout if it goes over, but I'd be looking short. If you're red when the market just went green on that V shape, I don't know that I would want to be fighting it to the long side. There's plenty of things that are cruising to the upside right now that you can try to get into. Speaking of which, Apple's almost at that 227.5.
227.
So it's about to get through that. There was a bunch of selling here. It looks like today it's not happening on Apple. I was looking for a pullback to give you this range and be able to play 226.5. The same selling that was there before has yet to come in. So I'm going to be dip buying at 226. Call it 80 to 227. That's on the off chance we even get that, Phil.
Yeah, all right. It's been a great day. It's been a celebratory one. It's obviously a lot of great trades. Neil's put on some great trades. We've had some great trades. Amazon is now, we have two $2 winners right now. Amazon and NVIDIA still trying to go. I just want to tell you, like, we have that 10% left of everything. We just have a little bit more on NVIDIA, that's all. Palantir, we only have that 10% left. You saw me get out of it. We talked about it. We have a bunch. I mean, here you go. You can just see. We have a bunch of outs in here. A lot of our outs are right here in the 25, 30 area. And then we got something out at 50, and then again at 60. And now you're trying to pull just a little bit right now. So I don't want to count chickens before they hatch or anything like that, but I'm not going to reload this name. If this breaks back down below 42, we'll just get out. We'll still use that 41.90 area as our out. That's what we were going to do in the beginning anyways. We talked about that. This was going to be about a 10-cent hit because we've been in NVIDIA many times before, into Palantir before, where it goes, breaks, comes back, breaks again. So I know Neil was trading this yesterday. It's just, you have to play momentum when momentum's there. And right now it's coming in a little bit and it's against the market, which puts a little off-putting there for me. All right, so Amazon might just be near that level. We tweeted this out before, man, that we really like this trade, but now it's up to this 184. I mean, we could be in it all day. There's no doubt about that. The futures are only up 0.24. There's lots of rallies still to come in this market, I would feel like. But let's just put it out. We'll offer 72s there, and there it goes, man. Let's put that stock into the hot dog cannon and fire it off because right there, that's 182.20 all the way out 183.72. We'll take it, man, and end the Amazon trade right there. So that's it. There to there. I don't know. Can't do much else. We talk about getting it out at VWAP. We take it for 40 cents. Then VWAP is 70 cents. Then at that point, I guess the 50 period was up here at 183.20. Then it breaks back down below 183. We take another piece out. Then it rips into where we closed it right now. So, all right, man. NVIDIA with the pullback as well. So that's, again, a good out there. We talked about this. We have about 15% left of our NVIDIA trade. It is the largest piece of something that we have left. But I do think that, as we say, we like to play names that come back into VWAP. So looks like NVIDIA is doing that right now, possibly a long area here for NVDA. Good out maybe on Amazon. NVIDIA we have to think about.
Yeah, the only thing I'm left in is CCL, which is still going, and we're going to be on the bid here. But how do you find those key levels, everybody? How do you find the stocks to trade? Well, I'll give you an answer there. eSignal, fantastic. You want to trade smarter. You want to analyze. You want to strategize. You want to back test. It's a fantastic platform for all of those things. In reality, charting is your eyes to the market. That's your eyes and your ears. You want to look at that past data and try to predict the future. And the best way to do that is to get the best tools out there for you, for the best scanners, to find the best stocks, to have access to every single symbol that's out there and every single indicator that you could imagine. Everything you're going to need is going to be all in one place with eSignal. You can use an API with it, be able to program some trades. As I said, you can have your own customizable watch list. Very, very important. Truth of the matter is, on this trading floor, there's always at least half a dozen people that have been using eSignal over the years. So if you're interested, you can see this QR code, scan it right now if you want a professional charting platform. Check out the link in the description as well, and start your journey with eSignal here today. So thank you very much, and shout out to them. Great platform here. I wish I could tell you the reload on Rivian was good, but it wasn't. Like, that was a candle. So we just got to 90s, reloaded on the way back up through VWAP. Let me zoom in so you can see better here. And then we lost our support. So on the news, now support meaning this was the bottom on the news at 1070, right? So we fired out, got out at 68, roughly flat on it now because of the reload. This needs to calm down. That was a hammer to the downside. If it's going to be a long again, I'm going to wait for the other side of the trade. So we're still in CCL. It hasn't really broken this flag. It also hasn't broken the high. The second it breaks the high, whatever the trend is, I slap a trend line on it and hold till 20 or till the break of said trend line. And now you're starting to get some VWAP holds in here. This is going to be key, like what is holding and what isn't holding VWAP. I want to aim to get an entry that doesn't resemble the Rivian one, but resembles how we were getting into NVIDIA the last few times, which is catch it as it holds that and not on that absolute bottom. So we'll try to get it in here as it's trying to bounce off of VWAP on NVDA and go to Adara for Sector Watch.
We've got a market right now that's slightly positive. That's both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. And there are really a lot of sectors that reflect that. We have some green going on here right now in producer manufacturing, but a strength consumer non-durables. Consumer durables as well, with Tesla leading the group, aren't too weak here either. Neither are process industries and transportation, but there's not a lot of outsized strength in this market today. Now, we've talked about these sectors that are definitely going to give you a lot of excitement, a little bit more of mixed energy here, and that's going to be these tech sectors. As Neil alluded to, there's a lot of waffling going on here in some of these semiconductors. AMD to the downside, NVIDIA and Broadcom a little bit more unsure. Qualcomm, though, doing quite nicely today, and Boeing also bringing the sector to the downside with quite a few negative catalysts with this one yesterday, including the FAA issuing airlines warnings about some rudders on some 737 planes. We had a potential junk rating being flagged there by S&P Global, and also their machinist strike is said to continue. So BA still on watch. Even more weakness, though, if you look here at the technology services sector. Microsoft pretty strong here, as is Oracle, but Google, Meta, and CRM all a little bit weaker. So we'll have to wait and see how this tech sector unfolds. Also, you have to keep an eye on finance in the next few days leading up to bank earnings, which kick off on Friday morning with JPM and WFC, guys.
Banks to the rescue? I don't think so. Very quickly in here, I left a bid in on Tesla. Ooh, that was close. So Tesla broke trend. Obviously, as you can see, I'm missing a candle in there. It'll fill in a little bit later. But Tesla broke that trend line, which usually I only wanted back in on trend. So it's a quick in and out because that violates the rule. Like if anything, I should be usually shorting that move, but I think you got to be getting it around here when you get that wick back up with a stop at 47. Like there is the trend, and the trend is since it broke the high. So not this trend, but I'm talking about there's the break of the high, there's one bottom, there's the last bottom when we had the breakout trade. So it should not have been long, so we just jumped right out of it instantly. I'm like, why am I still bidding that price?
Oh boy.
So if we're gonna hold underneath here, I'm looking for, the top's 47, so the close is underneath, looking for the pop that gets me something above 246.5. Might have missed that chance there on Tesla on the mean reversion trade. Maybe there's something else setting up. I feel like if there's gonna be a short though, it's either that sets up, or maybe we take a little bit of AMD. But AMD's not really moving much. The money fills have been over VWAP short on AMD, over 171 into 171 like 65. So you want the fills over, or I guess it would have to break this low. It's clearly relatively weak, but it has to set up an entry. Like you punch short now, you're kind of hitting the local range bottom, which doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense as far as I'm concerned. But this is the one that I would short if we're shorting anything in the chip space.
All right, we bought NVIDIA. I mean, we bought NVIDIA down here. We bought some 20s, and we bought some 23s and some 25s. But we still want this to go. I mean, it's it's a good trade, but it needs more. So we'll let this go to the high side. We're going to give it a break and see if it wants to do anything and get back up to 134. I'm just going to sit in this and hold it. I mean, it could drip down. We are going to buy some of these dips as well. There we go. We just bought some 10s. Look at that break. Wow, pretty aggressive break there. My stop is not too much lower than where we are right now on NVIDIA. So let's be careful for that 132. I put down 79s. As a break lower. So we're in this right now. That'll be basically a flat trade. We just bought some more down there, so maybe we can get something out if it gets back into the 20s again, but right now on a market pullback. NVIDIA not actually trading that well today. I mean, it was a nice move up. We took advantage of it. Pretty happy with that. We talked about getting back to zeros right now, but we'll have to wait to see. This position now pending could put us red again right now, but we'll try NVIDIA down here at 133. It's a decent level there. If anything, we'll give some back on this last little bit of that trade, but it's a good thing that it did drip into VWAP here, so we'll take advantage of that. The strategy that we've been doing forever, so we'll wait to see if it does hold VWAP down here at 133. I mean, we're long at 132.80, so it's not horrible. Maybe we'll take a piece out here in the teens as it just went into that level and then stopped again. I can see the net here. Like, as long as this goes back, we will be completely fine. We are long, and we just reloaded it. We actually got 133.10s there, some in the 20s, some in the 10s. So it has not given us a beneficial reload yet. So we'll have to wait. If it goes back up, great. If not, this will come out in and around flat. Oh, the position board is down. That's okay. Fabian will get that going in a minute, but
just take a fill.
Yeah, we are long NVIDIA right now at this price, 132.80.
Yeah, I feel like it looks like it just needed a bit of a reset. So whenever that happens, they refresh it, and then we just get whatever the next time you take a fill. So when I got out of the last position, it's going to refresh. I'm only in CCL. The new trend is it might actually break into VWAP here as we speak. So the trade that I didn't get short in Tesla, just canceled my other stop because you got to cancel one stop to be able to put another one in there.
Yep.
So if we can't hold this 119.75, CCL I'm not going to short if it breaks this trend line. But I am going to get out of the long if it breaks that trend and look to get right back in at VWAP. And if it holds, this is similar to Tesla. If it holds here and breaks back out above, I'm going to look for a break of 19. It's 1985 that sits up top. I know it's kind of a tight range in there, but look how long it's been sitting there. I'm going to cancel my offer in front of 20s. I'm going to have a stop. I'm going to go manual. Wow. Okay.
Fabian, I'm taking fills over here. It's not working.
It's not? Okay. Well, I might get a fill here. As I was just saying that, CCL just broke that 85. I just took a fill.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's now changed. Yeah, my average price now 78, so it looks like it works in there. And now I want to give it to the previous trend bottom in here on CCL. So it works out to my average price, 1978. You get under that, it's a break of this trend line here on CCL. The play now into the 20 level. This is huge. It's a big resistance level on the daily and weekly of CCL here to the $20 level. So relatively tight stop to see if we can play back into some of those highs. 20 even, I still say in the middle of the day, it's going to have even more shares than it would have at the open. I'm expecting like a few mil on that bad boy. AMD, yeah, money fills. I mean, charts will tell you the history. The money fills were above 171 in a streaking market. I elected to not take the short right there at 171. Now it's hunting for the low of the day. It's obviously a relatively weak name here. I just didn't see an obvious entry in AMD. SMCI, however, is holding while the market's bleeding back, and I feel like this is pretty good to try and take something for a bit of a dip. Like, it's got VWAP out there when the market pulls back in. Same thing with Apple. Like, Apple's a relatively strong one. You got to be patient for it, I think, with this market pullback. It's the first real one. I'm waiting at 226.80. That's the level of interest for myself. So we're only in CCL. I just saw that just went again. So CCL held the trend, broke out the top, offers in front of 20, and patiently waiting for the next dip buy. Possibly Apple or SMCI, the things that are holding VWAP.
Yeah, so we now the position will just starting to hit again, so that's good. All right, so just quickly looking, we're going to get out of this if it breaks too much lower. We've actually was able to take advantage of that as we went over to Adara or when Neil was talking there. I'm not sure when exactly, but we did break back on NVIDIA, and we got some out in the 20s. So again, pretty good there. We're just I'm getting stopped out if it goes down 10 more cents. Like, I'm not letting this thing fall. I mean, the market is already at the 50 period, so it's already, the damage has already been done. This stock is already fallen in right now. Any more than this, let's get out. We're expecting the market to rebound here. If it does not, then that's a clear signal for us to fly out of that trade. It looks like we made a good decision on Amazon, though, as we get out at 183.80s, and that's all the way back down to 40s. Again, another reload position possible here for Amazon. I mean, you're down at the 50 period. You're down at the 200 as well. So I like that. VWAP is right there. So this is looking pretty good to me, but you know why everyone's here is for this. All right, come on, NVIDIA, first of all, go up to the upside. All right, what is for, yesterday we had brie and ham cheese sandwiches. I think that was pretty good. Oh my God, today is a favorite. Today is the most anticipated lunch
Jerk chicken
in a very, very long time. I know Big Patty Ice loves what's coming right now because I saw him last time. He was really, really enjoying it. It's that teriyaki beef strip loin again today. So there it is, man. Everyone propsing it up right there. So there we go. The teriyaki. I'm trying to do that. That's what I got to do. Give some suspense to this one there, Big Patty Ice. Teriyaki beef strip loin with vegetable fried rice, steamed broccolini, and a little bit of sweet corn there on the side. So for me, that is a win. So that's a face slapper right there. And then whatever was yesterday will be on the top of our salad. So I think we'll maybe have some chicken. I'm hoping for sure for me that it is tuna on top. But okay, so that's what it is, man. That is what's for lunch. Okay, and we are waiting now for NVIDIA to do something. Anything lower than this, man, we're stopping out. NVIDIA wants to dance, that's fine. You can find a different partner. I'm only here for the long. If it breaks lower, we are out, and I do not want to hold on to this. We've done a hell of a job making back what we lost there early, to we'll just sit here and squeeze Josh Allen's head over here and get ready to throw it over to Adara for Money Talks.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at the U.S. dollar. Worth noting, though, just tweeted 25 seconds ago. We have another update here from Ming-Chi Kuo. This is that supply chain analyst. Earlier this morning, tweeting a bit of a cautious note for short-term investors for Tesla with regards to its robotaxi event. Now just tweeting out here about iPhone 16 shipment updates, saying that the assembly orders have remained almost unchanged and that suppliers are apparently have been asked to continue producing 2 Pro models during China's national holiday. But it's also worth noting here the bulk of this here that Ming-Chi Kuo maintaining previous production estimate here for the iPhone 16 at 88 to 89 million units for Q4. That'd be slightly lower on a year-over-year basis from last year's 90 to 91 million units. So just a quick update here on Ming-Chi Kuo with some more analysis today. Now, in terms of analyzing the U.S. dollar, nice breakout here for the USD after hanging out here not 1 but 2 days straight. Bit of a doji, 2 doji candles here on that daily chart. Now we're nicely into that 102.80 area. Let's see if we can reclaim this previous area of resistance, that 103 that we saw going back to mid-August. We did actually earlier today get wholesale inventories month over month, a little bit lower than expected here, 0.1% versus the estimate here of 0.2%. However, the big economic number is going to be coming, or data, I guess, going to be coming at 2 p.m. That's going to be the FOMC minutes from the September meeting, where we had a larger than expected rate cut of 50 basis points, when at that point we had a lot of analysts and market participants leaning they were going to cut 25 basis points. Until then, we have so many Fed speakers. Fed's Goolsbee started talking at 10:30 a.m. We'll get Fed's Barkin at 12:15, Fed's Jefferson at 12:30, and then in the evening we're also getting comments from Fed's Bostic and Collins at 5, and then comments from Fed's Daily at 6 p.m. If you want more information, there's the entire list of Fed speakers available on Trader TV Live, guys.
Yes, sir. That's right. The list is also on the watch list as well. Lots of Fed speakers going on. I just want to quickly answer your question here. Markets, stock those markets. What is the name of the strategy you described on Tesla? There's no name. It was a simple like trend reversal. So, and again, everyone's going to have their own, like, just check out your own check out like your own entry points. Because initially, if we come to my chart, you can see where it goes parabolic on Tesla. Like, that's the parabolic move. It's this break of the high in here. Like, that break of the high, your first real consolidation. There's your bottom coinciding there. So, okay, so significant level 1. I know this one because I was in it when it lost to 246. It then held that low. So it's just a simple, like, parabolic-ish trend reversal. you break that trend, and the time frame you're using here is a 3-minute, so it has to show a candle closing underneath. It did it here, gave you an entry. Like this closed here, and then it gave you an entry back up to the top. So when I got in, I had a bid that was already sitting out there, which is like, no, that's a reversal candle. I should be short underneath that. I got out of that long immediately, ended up being a flat trade. But I think I should have been short back in here on this wick. 246.5 would have been the entry, stop there. Would I have been out in front of 245? 100%. I'd be able to, like, if not all of it, at least 2/3 of it, because that's an obvious level. We closed just underneath 245. It's like prior highs in there. Now you're seeing it barcode. It's not really a name of a strategy. Again, it's just like a trend reversal type of play. And usually you want it on something which is streaking to the upside for that entry. But it's already bouncing off the 245 level, which looks pretty good as we speak. I'd like to see it start making some higher lows. The market still in a bit of a pullback mode here. AMD is, like I said, AMD is looking relatively sick. It's held 170 now twice. So to wick that bottom, on a higher time frame, this is also yesterday's low. So basically, you've just double bottomed off yesterday's low. That's a pretty terrible place to me to want to be short at the low of the day. I think it's a pullback into VWAP is about the only spot. We're still just in CCL. Tesla's trying to set up. It's Apple. I thought this pullback in the market was going to give Apple at least somewhere close to 227. But, I mean, Apple is super, super strong here. Look at it just consolidate off of this top. Doesn't seem like it wants to fill in any part of that gap to get longs. So if it holds here one more time and the market doesn't fall over itself, I guess we got to take Apple where it is, not where you want it to be. Oh, and as I say that, it's starting to come down here.
It's just like Neil says 170 on AMD, and I'm just like, didn't we write that down? Honestly, man, we got to take the trade, but 170 long right there. Came in right there, perfect. Went up $1.50. Came in again, went up another $1.50. It's back here right now, so we'll take it one more time, or the first time, and see if it, now it won't work, of course, because it doesn't always work, and we have to wait to see if this key level will hit. But we already had that level marked down there for AMD. All right, so NVIDIA, we got out of that one as it dropped below that level there. Breaks through 90 finally there for NVIDIA, so we get out, which is fine. You know, again, if we can get into this 132, that's where I'd like to dip by that name right now. So we'll have to wait to see if there's any sort of love there for NVIDIA on a dip buy right now. No point in going long on anything down there on NVIDIA. We'll just wait for a Palantir. I mean, that's a face slapper. That's right back upside again. So we're going to use the 50-period moving averages are out, but that continues to work. And there goes AMD. So AMD finally right now starting to go. So we like that trade right now for advanced micro damn devices. As there it goes, man. Yeah, never fear on here. That was a good trade. We should have had it multiple times before. So let's see if we can continue to get something out on the upside. We just missed it. We're only long there at 25s. It got up there to 50 or so, and then we stopped. So we'll take it out now if we can get it on AMD, hoping, there it is, we get it. So we get that 43 or 44 there. So we'll props it up there. It's another sticky note level that just banged it out right there again. 170 long. Thanks for Neil for bringing that out to me, because that's a name that we had written there many times, and we should have taken that. So we did not notice it. So it's good that we do now. And then, yeah, if NVIDIA breaks back above, fine. CCL, I mean, face slapper again. I don't know what else to do. This was 1925. We're still in this one. Only 10%, but we're cruising on CCL right now, man. 1990 is the high. I think we can get a lot higher than that. So we'll wait to see if that does happen here for CCL. But so far, so good here as we get ready for the close. The midday show coming through right now. We have Satya coming on, so that should be a lot of fun. I mean, crypto's been moving around today, so we'll hear more about that. If you have any questions regarding there's some lessons to be had and fun times on the midday show. So, yeah, man, so far so good. Let's just keep on watching these markets, hopefully get higher and higher, and that would be starting with AMD for me.
Yeah, we just got into Apple here. It's not a double bottom, but like you have a wick bottom twice underneath 227.30. So consolidation off the top, kind of let it run the stops underneath, get back above, get into the long. I still think it can be a breakout from this level as well. So nice consolidation pattern happening over in Apple. Up at the highs, I mean, it's super, super strong here. I know it was just a couple of questions on, I've seen people asking about like crypto again, like MSTR and Mara in the chat. And they are relatively weak, but I've been waiting for Mara. There was this retested VWAP and then yuck, just immediately down back into some lows here. So I'm looking for that VWAP trade, but you have to be really quick on that. It's not spending a lot of time up at that top. So we just got an Apple, and Apple's now running that high of the day. So market's right back up to the top. Apple's been, I mean, it's a rocket ship. I know it's only up 0.8%, but the market's 0.2. When we started the day, Apple was the same as the overall market. One reminder, it does have 228 and then blue skies above the 228 level. So play into 228, then look for breaks off of the 228 level. We kind of missed that re-entry off of 226. But stay long and strong, Apple. It's the one that's going today. You can say whatever you want about Google, but Apple's cruising. And if anything happens negatively to Google, I think that's good for Apple in the long run as well. So, you know, Apple will have to get to the 1% mark. I think it's inevitable. 228 is its own level, though. Remember, this is a big gap fill. A couple of dollars once you're past that 28 into 230.
All right. I'm just glad that we were able to get this trade. So we did not get a reload, but we finally get the trade going through as well. And that's it right here, man. Look at AMD. So right there, we took that 170. I was glad that you guys brought that up there, or Neil in the chat. And that was just, again, another level that we had written down here on our sticky note that we just did not get to. And there it goes. We always got to keep this right in front of us here to make sure that we are able to find out more and more what we want to do. It looks like that NVIDIA out is going to be a bad one, obviously, as there it goes right back up. So we got out right here on that break, right? 132.80s or 130. I thought it was 89 break. I'll figure out what we got after. But there it goes, man, right back up there to the upside. So hallelujah if you are buying any of those dips there. I was going to wait for 132. We talked about that. So, yeah, man, failed opportunity for your boy there on that one. But you know what's not failing? Oh, boy. It is Palantir again, as that is now at the highs and going higher. This is a 42 break. So far here on the sticky note, let's just have a little quick review if you guys don't mind. So right here, AMD long 170. All right, NVIDIA long 135. That didn't break yet. Hold the 133.50. We're going to try to do that right now. NVIDIA down on that today, but okay, we'll see what happens there on NVIDIA. 41 didn't come in. There's the 42 break long. So that's good. CCL, 1925 break. Praying for Florida, and that has led us to these good trades there today, including Amazon is going to be P&L number one on the day show here right now. So pretty pleased again with what Amazon's been doing today. You take the trade, you put it on. Now it's breaking higher, but there's Amazon, man. My number one stock today, Amazon, the show's number one P&L stock as well. Palantir there, Apple there, CCL there. I know you have CCL, you have Apple. Tesla's been a good one there for Neil. But Amazon, CCL, NVIDIA. Look at NVIDIA now. Oh boy, as that continues to go. And what's up with that, AMD? What are you saying, my guy? As that continues to make some traders happy, including your boy right now. Okay, what a recovery, man, off that open. But what a great trade there. AMD off of 170 again right now. Apparently, Biden is speaking.
Yeah, Mr. Biden. I don't know what he's talking about, but. As we said, it is already past 11 o'clock, so market at highs, almost everything at those highs of the day. It's going to be a great one in the middle of the day, but it's going to be even better, I think, in the back half because we still have a lot to cover, and the market seems to want that 1 point to the upside. We're only halfway there. The Nasdaq's only up 0.4 as much as it's screaming, but we've got Satya, we've got Sharif. It is learn to trade. Go get them.
See ya. Oh my.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that Midday Show. That is your girl, Satya.
Hello, guys.
And I'm Sharif. We're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream. We already have Adara giving us specific levels about meta. Keep your eye out on that. I believe we have Adara in a hot second, but I just want everyone to weasel on over from the other side. We've got 9 to 5 grind. Good morning to you as well, my friend. We got the OG Darwin, who typically dances right when he gets in the chat. Because, you know, he's pumped off that morning show. Let's go, says Others Zinc. A proper dang paradox waving back to you. I think The stream is taking a little bit longer to weasel everybody on over, so we're just going to pack our patience. There we go. We got the Piper. Hello, Sharif and Satea. Hayes, we love you too, my man or woman. We're going to wait for more people to come on in. Let's go. YouTube, you can do it. Don't get upset that Google's being come after by the government. Everything's fine. YouTube's not being affected. Monty G coming in as well. What's